It's clobbering time! It's clobbering time! Clobberonimo!
Yeah, Clobberonimo indeed. And not only that,
Clobberonimo!
we indeed, yesness. Welcome, greetings, clobberers, clobberonimos, clobberoosties, clobberoids, and all those others out there. To the rest of them, just say, look, the secret is to bang the rocks together, guys. The clobbering orange rocks, that is. Welcome to Clobber Times issue number 559. Overall, on YouTube only, rather. Overall, it's 1,259. And it's Clobby's Clubhouse number 78. But you know what else it is? Pretty much a day late. I forgot to mention it yesterday. Yesterday was the 19th. I guess that's close enough to 20th, 19th. That I started doing this 14 years ago on Blog Talk Radio. Clobbering time.
Wowzers.
Started 14
Happy anniversary.
years
Goes
ago.
wild.
And now what? I don't know what. Just saying. There's no point to it. Just let you know.
Congratulations. That's the point, Captain.
No big deal.
Hand on heart. Love you. I'm so
Love
happy
you.
that you came to this medium.
I'm so happy to be here. As I've been told many times, should have moved over here a long time ago. But here we are anyway. We're here now. That's all that matters.
Enjoy it now, yeah.
Well, the timing was perfect because I got so many great friends here. So let's see here, everybody. Before we get started with some show notes, how about some opening words from the most wonderful first officer in the fleet? Take it away, Commander R.M. Briggs.
Well, thank you so much, Captain. Yes, welcome everyone. Hail to Mark D with a C. Hail to the chat. Hail to the wrenches. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, folks, and to all the people out there who are listening as though this were some type of a radio program, and anyone who's going to listen to this later on a download or just, log on and just listen to it afterwards, however you want to refer to it. We are delighted that you are here, that you are joining us this evening. This is the Clubhouse. We are going to have such a great time tonight. But before we get started, I have to do some specific shout outs. Do you want to know why? I'm an independent author and I'm publishing a new book. and a whole bunch of really incredible people in our community have gotten together to support my new science fiction book. And this is a pretty outstanding thing. They're kicking it up the 1700 style, 1800 style of backing artists. And so I got to call them out and give them thanks. So here we go. Larry, Tony Stark, Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, also known as Gil Bavel, Shooter, Chris Persia, Scuba Pete. Oh, don't forget to follow Scuba Pete. Follow Scuba Pete on Twitter and on YouTube. Eric K. and Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, the fantastic, the fantabulous Maker himself, Mark D with a C, Jilly Jill, Maximum Redstone, and my brand new patron, JT Cook. Thank you, everyone. And now I'm going to throw it over to the boss, Captain, my captain. I'm so excited about tonight. Let's do it.
Yeah. What about anything to open up with, Chief Engineer?
Oh, well, thank you for those kind words, Raquel. Yeah, no, always look forward to Thursday night at the clubhouse. It's 5-1 Rangers are winning, so I don't have to pay much attention to the game in the last few minutes. For all
man, if you wanted to vote and watch it.
No, it's over. It's 2 minutes left, but
good.
I'm joking. I'm joking. It's
would you really choose sportsing over us?
5-1. Yeah, I would choose over sports, but yeah, it's 5-1 too. So as soon as it was 5-1, you knew it was the fights were going to break out. So, no, looking forward to talking about one of my most favorite UFO episodes, but also one of the episodes I hate the most of UFO, if that makes any sense.
Gotcha.
And I got to give a shout out. I started a Patreon too. So my two Patreon, So Shooter and Brian Hepburn are Patreons as well. So I've been printing a bunch of Doomsday machines. So hopefully people want to get those through my Patreon. And just it's just fun to hang out here and talk to everyone and talk about things that we like, right? So looking forward to it tonight.
Well, thanks, Duder. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Pat S., I did forget that, but the thing is, and we have a poll. We'll address the poll when I get all this other stuff done.
Ooh,
I left that one off because not everyone, the 4 shows on my poll, everyone here is C. So anyway, all right. So let's do some shout outs, folks, after I do my show notes really quickly. Firstly, I want to thank everybody who hung out with us on Monday night. Mr. Jason Sandberg and backed his book and I really appreciate his comic. I really appreciate that. I believe there's still a link in my description below. I think there is. If not, I need to put one in there. But we'll get the link back up there for those who have not backed this. I backed it. Looks like it's going to be really cool. Jupiter.
Nice.
Let's see here. And what else we got going on? Let's see here. What is today? Oh, tomorrow night. I'll be hanging out over 8:30 Central Standard Time, hanging out at Nick's Comic Shop, gang, with part 2 of our Jim Starlin review of the Jim Starlin run, the classic. There'll be 3 parts to this. Hanging with the Comic Shop boys on Nick's channel. It's a lot of fun. One of the most brilliant comics ever, runs of comics, especially ever made. And we were just having a blast. We had a great time reviewing it last week. 4 more issues of it this week. Can't wait. And then, of course, Saturday night Star Trek, of course, same Trek time, same Clobby channel, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, here on the CLOBBERIN Times YouTube Palace.
Dun, 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 dun.
With the Baxter Building basement, the Isle of Misfit Toys, as we like to call it. 4 more episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And then, of course, don't miss us at Mark's Sunday night Geek Read, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
Sunday night
looking forward to that.
And now I'm going to be busy on Monday nights because, as I did last week, I joined on the great J-Man's channel, my good buddy J-Man's channel. We've decided to start reviewing all of the Legion of Superheroes from the first appearance in 1958, which we reviewed last week, Adventure 247. And this week, J-Man and Sean and I review their second 2 appearances. We're going to go chronologically in order from 1958 to 1989. So the next 2 appearances, we are going to long live the Legion. Yep. That's what we're going to do. And then and of course I'll have a regular Mark C Comics talk a little later from that, where don't know where I put my Mark's Comics. Anyway, I'll have a Mark's Comics talk later, and then Wednesday night, that will be the 26th, I believe. I'm so happy to bring in, first time on the channel, but I've been with some panels on Nick's channel. Our great friend D. Bud Martin will join me.
That's going to be great.
For a CLOBBERIN Classic Comics review. Iron Man #6 by Archie Goodwin, George Tuska, Johnny Craig from 1968. And D. Bud, buddy, I cannot wait. I'm really looking forward to that. Now let's do some shout outs before we get down to beeswax here. Of course, always our wrenches, the great Eric K., the Bronze Wrencher. Chris Persia, the Vindicator Wrench of the North.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for the show poster.
The aforementioned great D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron.
Mathematician extraordinaire.
Chief of Security and God of Wrenching, Lord Thoth. Shout out to the wonderful Lady Thoth as well. Avon lives, and long live the Legion. My partner in crime on Earth B, fellow Legionnaire, the Wrench Without Fear, J-Man.
J-Man.
Hungry Boy, Master of the Club Boney.
HB.
Arts extraordinaire, of course, and cover artist for the wonderful science fiction tales by R.M. Briggs.
Yes, remarkable work. I am so honored.
Super Wrench Kal-El.
Real soup.
Miati's daddy, the wielder of Wrench Mjolnir, and of course,
Thor in Vegas.
Fanty Outsider. Yes, and now let's see who is with us that is not a wrench. Simply Steve is here tonight. Hey, buddy.
Hey, hi, sweetheart. Oh,
Indeed.
look at that. And Simply Steve is throwing out the cheese for Kirby, Sir Lancethoth, and Simmy.
Nice. Hold on. Let's see here. Brian Hepburn, what's up, buddy? Excuse me. Good to see you, Brian Hepburn. Let's see. Matthew. Hey, Matthew Pounder. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, hi, baby. Good to see you.
Donnie Pearson.
Evening, Donnie.
Hey, Donnie.
Good
How was
to
the new
see
Power
you.
Rangers movie? Let us know.
Yes. Congratulations. He said it's the Power Rangers anniversary of some sort, so congrats you on that, dude. JT Kirk.
JT Cook.
See here, hang on. J. Picasso. Hey, Michael
Picasso's
Beacom.
here. Michael Beacom and
Yes.
Cassandra Beacom. Hello.
Michael and Cassandra. And hey there, Jay Picasso. Thank you for being here. Ezra Goldstein. Shalom.
Shalom.
And they call him Scuba Pete. He's the
Scuba
king of Ramba
Pete.
Beach. When
Chasing
he plays
Eddie's toys, follow him.
Chicky boom, chicky boom. And she said stuff. Oops, sorry. All right. Good to see you, buddy. And I hope that Leslie is doing well.
Oh, she's a sweetheart. I love her so much.
Snuggy Jr. Hey
Evening,
there, hey there.
Snugs.
Let's see. I know we got more. Could not be reached for further comment. Hey there.
Ooh.
And thank you for that happy anniversary.
Evening.
Let's see here. Let's see. Hojo.
Oh, nice.
I do
Hojo
know if
has
I
some
know you.
mojo.
No Mo Farscape love. He said, well, I'll put it on there at least.
Whatever do you mean? We love Farscape.
I put it on I guess he thinks it's not doing well in the poll. Well, I
Oh.
can't help that. I can't help that.
Oh, yeah, I need to look at this poll.
It doesn't matter. I predetermined which one's going to win anyway, but I figured I'd let you all vote.
This is a
bet you all
dictatorship here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
This is a
that's what's
dictatorship
happening
here.
here, Mark.
It's a benevolent dictatorship.
Yeah.
Benevolent dictatorship.
Sort of. More of a
You can all
cranky one.
vote, but I'm deciding. Yeah.
More of a cranky one. I don't even. Hey, look. At least you all get the vote. I don't get the vote, so therefore I have to be a dictator. Badass. What's up, buddy? And I think
Evening,
I've shouted out everybody. So now, for the moment, let me see where we're standing on the poll. We'll run it all night just for the hell of it anyway. But right now,
Still standing better than ever did.
okay. I don't That's okay. No, you can keep going.
No.
Let's see here. All right. Currently, our poll, the question is,
What is the question?
What show would you like to have us review next on the Clubhouse?
Ooh.
In first place, well, the choices are Blake 7, The Prisoner, Babylon 5, and Farscape. I just threw them out.
Wow.
I want to think of something we'd all seen because
Yeah.
I think, except for Mark, I don't know if Mark's seen them all, but I mean, there's something easily available that most people have seen.
Mm-hmm.
Or a lot
And I will rewatch because all of those are good.
In first place right now, is Babylon 5 with 35%.
Oh wow, Zathras is going to love this. Crap.
Right now, a tie for second place is Blake 7 and The Prisoner.
Oh, good. That's
and
good
in fourth
stuff
place
all the way around.
At 20. Oh no! Whoa! Just changed. The Prisoner jumped into second place at 26%. Blake 7 is at 23, and at 17% in last place is Farscape.
Oh.
So, by the way, anyone who is lurking or listening later on a rerun or a download, we really appreciate you.
We do.
Oh, we have a super chat. I didn't even realize that. Where'd
go? We're how come
they got rid of that feature that we liked, and people are going after. They got rid of
it. That we only had it for 1 week.
Yes, and I saw some of our fellow YouTubers going after YouTube about it.
Oh, YouTube,
not YouTube, StreamYard. No, StreamYard.
Yeah.
Sorry,
they probably had some bugs or something with it.
And StreamYard said, "Oh, well, we'll try to put it back." So I don't know.
Death Ray, all out attack. Good evening,
Michael. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. He says, "Why am I such a misfit?" I guess it's why am I such a misfit? I am not just a nitwit just because I love space shows. Why don't I fit in? Oh, my little misfit toys. It's been quite a while, but I love it. Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate it.
Michael and Cassandra Beacom. They're such great people.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate it. Why not review Classic Who? This is the 60th anniversary. Thing is, Ezra, it's not, Raquel's not a fan, and I don't want to force her into doing something she doesn't want to do. But Mark is, but I am. But don't worry. This is the 60th anniversary, and since the BBC has destroyed Doctor Who, I will be celebrating it.
Oh, nice.
November is going to be Doctor Who month. And before that, I'll do some other stuff. But November, I'm going to count down my favorite episodes. We're going to do specials. And so Ezra, screw the BBC, but I at least will do my part in celebrating my beloved Doctor Who, which this year, like last year, marked like 40 years as a fan for myself. And so
I got to watch that show. Eventually.
It's got to be something. Not the way you do things, because you start at the beginning and it would be weird. You got to start where we tell you to start. And you won't do it. You're OCD.
I do like to start at the very beginning, do all the research, then watch the entire thing in a linear fashion, taking notes.
You can't.
Well, you mean you can, but there's a lot missing in the first Doctor, and then a ton missing from the second Doctor. Then once you get to the third Doctor from starting in 1970ish, everything's it's complete. I mean, everything exists.
But they do have the audio of every episode from fans recording it off of TV, thankfully.
Oh wow!
So you can listen to every episode, and they've done some animated reproductions of some of the episodes. Some are better than others.
With animation taking place in certain segments of with live action doesn't exist.
See, this anymore. To me sounds incredibly interesting.
But I don't know if you would get into this show it took a while before. Well, it took a while for it to become science fiction. It started out with a science fiction fantasy plot. Don't get me wrong, but the first episode, after the first part, at first it was considered to be, it was intended to be like a children's adventure show that talked about history, like an educational show about history. Mm-hmm. Although the very second episode, they end up going into the future and meeting the Daleks, and which are pure science fiction. And what happened was the show was about to be canceled. At first, it had the misfortune of being first aired the day after Kennedy's assassination. And so the first episode, which had to be reshot and all this kind of stuff, mostly dealt with kind of a weird story about cavemen in the past. But after that, it ends up in the future. The Daleks is a pure science fiction story. Well, what happened was parents were appalled by these disgusting, weird pepper pot machines that were running around talking like this and talking exterminate. And they said, take that horrible, don't ever show those horrible things again. But there was one problem. Kids loved them, and they were running around the day after that came out acting like Daleks and going crazy. And the BBC said, whoa, the show was about to be dead canceled, but they said the kids wanted more Daleks. So they continued. Did a number of episodes later, they got Daleks again, and the Daleks became all the rage back then. So it saved the show. They've made some movies about Daleks, but the show in and of itself, a lot of the time it was science fiction, and other times it was like he'd go back in time and meet people in his historical dramas and stuff. It wasn't until really the later half of the first Doctor and then into the second Doctor that it was almost purely science fiction fantasy stuff. Yeah, they didn't like the bug-eyed monsters, they said.
Good evening,
Anyway.
Blunt Philly Reviews.
Blunt Philly Reviews.
Oh, and Cuz is here. Cuz just walked through the door.
Dave
David
Rayborn.
Rayburn.
What's up, cuz? Anyway, but we love it. But I don't know. I don't know if it would be to your taste or not, but we love it.
I'm
But
going to have to
nevertheless,
give it a try. It's
you
time
never
for
know.
me to give it a try, I think.
Never feel like you're pressured into anything around here.
Look,
Besides-
as long as it's science
Yeah, we
fiction,
won't make you watch anything.
I'm probably going to like
It is. Well, I mean, it's time travel. There's some. I mean, some of the time travel elements or fantasy, but look at it like this: just as we don't understand what the Guardian of Forever is, the Time Lords are thousands of years in advance than us, so their technology doesn't necessarily need to be explained. How they master time, how a TARDIS works, which is dimensionally transcendental, bigger on the inside than the out, and all that stuff. So the Doctor's method of time travel doesn't need to be explained, just as the Guardians of the Guardian, of Forever doesn't need to be explained. So
No.
in that respect, it is sort of a fantasy type component to the time travel part, but it is a pure science fiction show in that respect.
Mhm.
It's sort of
Captain Infinity approves of the time travel too,
it's
correct?
even the info approves of it. Yeah,
Well, yeah, but
it's-
I haven't watched it myself, so I can't say for sure. But I will say that I completely agree with Clobby. Clobby and I have talked about this extensively off air for the last 3 years, and we absolutely think that as long as it is not, as long as the unpacking of the science of how the time travel happens, as long as that is the focus of the show,
no.
and instead it's the trapping of the show,
Right.
well then it's okay. But it's just when it's a science fail that we get upset.
Yes, it's that you just accept that the TARDIS, which draws its power from a basic, it's so powerful. It draws its power from a supernova, and a black hole. But that it can go anywhere in time, space, in the universe in just a matter of minutes. You just accept that the Time Lords are that advanced, and then you go from there. And it's basically Quatermass, except he's traveling all over the place with companions.
Yeah.
It's very similar to Quatermass. And,
Boss, I have
yes.
to interrupt very rudely. I'm so sorry, but you know what? Just Joe 47 walked through the door.
Oh, I didn't see him. Jobber. What's up,
You
dude?
snuck by?
He snuck
up,
in.
Jobber?
He snuck into the back of the class. He sat in the back row, but then he smiled and waved.
We have
His cloaking device
37,
is not working anymore. Yep.
That's
We have-
right.
37 votes.
What are we at,
A lot
boss?
of votes.
I mean, I already know what we're doing next, everybody, so I'm lying to you anyway, but see, I don't get a vote, but I just want to see which one you want.
What?
We have 37 votes. You want to tell you what they are? I mean, no.
Yeah.
Well, Babylon 5 is still in first place with 32%.
Ooh,
And the Prisoners in 24% in second place, and Blake 7 is 22%, tied in third place with Farscape.
well, we're eventually going to do them all.
Blake 7 is next, by the way, if anyone wants to be spoiled.
Wants to spoil, yeah, but they're still going to vote.
They can vote. Oh, they can still vote. I want to know what they want. Hey, I don't get a vote, so why should they?
Peter, love you too, honey.
Oh, thank you. Love you, buddy. Thank you,
Thank you,
Scuba
Scuba
Pete.
Pete.
You're
Don't
too
forget
kind,
to follow
man.
Scuba Pete, Chasing 80s Toys on YouTube. The guy
Yes.
is, you know how like Clobby is the grand poobah of all of geekdom? Scuba Pete is the grand poobah of all of the merch, like the toys, the collectibles, the antiques. Oh, he's so much fun. He is such a kind and smart and wonderful person. And his wife is his partner in crime. And just, yeah, go follow him on Twitter. Go follow him on YouTube. You won't regret it, especially if you really, really love all of the merchandise and all of these beautiful.
He's got a couple of
collectible
things
toys.
in his office
Just a
slash
few.
room. Yeah,
Just a
just
few.
a few.
He's got a few things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a museum. We're kidding, folks.
You
it's
can
a
never
museum.
have too many toys.
Indeedishness. Well, number one, and why don't we get started? We have we
Okay,
have some
boss.
Tales of Tomorrow for you and Mark to review, right? Mark,
We do, boss. And is that because you didn't do your homework?
I never have on this. I mean, I want to, but I'm so far behind. You could just forget it now. I got to be in the mood to watch something, and I never did, like an idiot. I'm sorry.
Well,
I
you're
wish
not.
I had.
But I will
No,
tell
I
you
definitely
this.
am.
You definitely get a pass on this week because I did some updating on the list. And so as we're going through season 1, we were supposed to, so last week we stopped off at A Child is Crying. No, Blunder. Sorry, Blunder.
Blunder, yep.
And then I said the next one is A Child is Crying, and that I would investigate the others that follow. Well, the next ones on the list are The Woman at Land's End, The Last Man on Earth, Errand Boy, and The Monsters. All of these are currently unavailable. I don't know where they are, but I have investigated them. They do have Metacritic reviews. They do have people who have done comprehensive reviews on these episodes. And that's all over the internet. So they are somewhere, and hopefully they will get doled out soon.
Well, if anyone can find them, let us know where that, because it's everything's in the public domain, I think. So
yeah, exactly. Oh, your old toys just walked through the door.
Your old toys, hey there. What's up, buddy?
But if anyone, can find a spot where they can, I was looking for them too.
Couldn't find them.
If anyone lets us know, please send it our way.
Yeah, they're nowhere to be found. But like I said, those reviews are out there. So, it's really disappointing because when I was doing the research on these particular episodes, it's my understanding or immediate recollection, though I didn't write it down, that almost all of the ones that are missing were short stories that were turned into teleplays. So exactly what this audience loves. This audience craves the opportunity to a typical science fiction fan. You're all typical science fiction fans, craving having those wonderful, well-wrought stories taken into celluloid through these excellent teleplays. So it's sad, but tonight we're gonna keep going. And so tonight's first episode will be A Child is Crying. And I suppose I should bring everyone up to date. If you're new around here, we are reviewing 2 episodes each week of Tales of Tomorrow. And the reason why we're doing this is because of the collapse of the apparatus that used to, bring us all of these amazing short stories that were turned into films, that were turned into television shows, that used to happen in magazines. Well, we don't really have that opportunity anymore. Communications are changing. Communications mediums are changing. And we don't have that opportunity anymore. So we want to shine a light on this. And I mean, let's face it, folks, everything on TV today sucks. So this is also good because
are you sure?
It's a retrospective that offers us some cool stuff to sink our teeth into as science fiction fans. So
Indeed.
A Child is Crying is season 1, episode 3. Now, this is an international show, so obviously everyone out there is shaking their head. What are you talking about? That's just for the USA, but I'm going to be using the USA list to make sure we fully get through season 1 and we watch absolutely every episode that is available. And, these have gone from film into television episodes that had to be recovered using a specific apparatus. And so there is a great deal of damage to the films. Some of them aren't available. They were just put into the public domain. So this is a huge, juicy adventure for science fiction fans. We all watched this for the very first time. How do you like me bringing stuff over from Saturday Night Star Trek? What I meant to say is this first aired on August 17th, 1951. The writer
I wasn't watching it then.
No, you were not. You were not even a twinkle in your father's eye. Um, this was written by John D. MacDonald, and then it was turned into a teleplay by Alvin Sapinsley. And the IMDb summaries are somewhat weird, mostly horrible. IMDb is a cesspool because it's user generated content. So most of it is complete crap or it's false. So I just put together a little bit of a summary and then we can get into it. A child with beyond genius IQ. So this is beyond genius, beyond. And we live in a world of hyperbole. So it's like, a girl can't just be pretty. She's got to be drop dead gorgeous. There's no hyperbole here. She's beyond genius IQ. She winds up being examined by the government and the military. Her mother is pressured to surrender her to these government and military forces. The little girl's name is Lily, and she's in fact so intelligent, so brilliant that she volunteers herself under the assumption that she will advise scientists on physics and mathematics. When a general traps her in a room, he assaults her. He grabs her by the arm and starts becoming really violent with her because she refuses to reveal the nature and cause of her abilities. So she says, I know how I came by these abilities. I know what caused them, but I'm not going to reveal them to you. And when he grabs a hold of her and assaults her, she actually exhibits ability to control the thoughts of others. So she can not only control the thoughts of others, but she can will the body through these thoughts. And so that's revealed in this exchange. Everyone is very nervous and depressed by the absolute answers that she provides. So this taps into this whole idea of psychohistory. This idea that Isaac Asimov had, where there would be an entire branch of science that would be developed that would be what he called psychohistory. That was taking aggregated data and providing calculations to predict the movement of society and choices. So not the individual. So this wouldn't be a fantasy science situation. This would be a pure science situation. So just society writ large. Lily reveals there are 19 other kids just like her. And as we're nearing the end, these episodes are only 20 minutes long, including commercials. They're about 25 minutes long. They drug her. And they drug her because they want to make her more cooperative. She's only telling them the things she wants to say, and she's framing it in the way in which she would like it framed. So while she is drugged, she reveals the total atomic destruction of civilization. And so there's a good deal more material after that, but that will ruin the story for you. And I don't want to ruin the story for you. So I'm going to stop there. And I'm also going to welcome Sean Carter from Mars.
And John Shaggy Rupert. Hey.
Reggie?
Sean, John. Hey, welcome.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop there because I don't want to ruin this the ending if you're watching these, and I truly hope you are, because you really will enjoy them. For a long time now on Clubby's Clubhouse and Saturday Night Star Trek, as an academic, I've really been pushing this idea of making sure that science fiction doesn't die as a genre. And science fiction primarily, if you look at the nucleus of science fiction, you're really looking at something that allows human beings to massage ideas. So it's not meant for intrapersonal expositions or interpersonal, soap opera like stuff. It's really meant to explore ideas, and that's what this series does quite beautifully. So, A Child is Crying gets into some pretty cool ideas. I absolutely, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would have liked to have seen this be a 2-hour film. It is quite marvelous. This idea of John D. MacDonald, I would actually like to track it down and read the actual short story, because you can tell there's some missing content there, and there has to be, due to the brevity that is demanded here. Under 20 minutes, it seems impossible to tell a story in that time. So because of that, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Really cool idea, explored in a wonderful way. There are a lot of weighty philosophical issues here. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but this one needed to cook a little bit longer. The meat's a little tough on this one. And now I'm going to throw it over to Mark. Mark, what did you think of A Child is Crying?
Oh, I love this episode. That was fantastic sci-fi right away with an anthology series. It doesn't matter. You get all the characters in just a few minutes. So you've got this uber smart young girl, looks like, a normal, I guess teenager or preteen. I don't know how old she is, but young, obviously young. And her mom, I guess, you don't need the setup, but I guess she's at a government base, and somehow she's there, and I guess something had happened, I think, with some of her formulas, and they thought maybe there was some spying going on or some stolen secrets, and so they're interviewing her. So the scientist is interviewing her, and she's answering all his questions and explaining things to him, and he's like, I think she's this, I think she's smarter than me, basically, is what he says. And the girl doing the acting does a fantastic job of acting older than her age. So she's quite believable. And it kind of reminds me of the Maddie character from True Grit, maybe, or that, I guess, the Sheldon Cooper, maybe in some way. Not with the comedy part, but just in terms of the genius part, So pictures like an uber genius, an Einstein, a Da Vinci,
right.
Newton, all rolled into Mr. Spock, rolled into one.
Sure.
And
Mighty Orbots, hey.
Hey.
Mighty Orbots.
And of course, the government wants to use her. And the interesting thing was, we're not going to spoil too much, but the girl's so intelligent when her mom says, do you really want to, the army's basically kidnapping her, saying, we're going to keep you here for national security, we need your help. And instead of and the mom was all upset, and the girl says, no, actually it's basically logical that I stay here. I don't need you anymore. I don't need parents anymore. She's just so smart. So it's just a fantastic setup, and of course, without giving away the ending, and I give this a 10 out of 10, even though it was short and truncated. I just loved the thought process on there. And in some ways, it kind of tied in. I wouldn't say tied in, but the Deep Space Nine episode that you guys reviewed with the mutants or the super
psychohistory.
So a little bit in terms of prediction and thought, and how that you would deal with someone that's that far above. And then of course she's got superpowers too, so she's can kind of influence use her power of thought to basically tell the general, if you don't knock it off, you're gonna be jumping out this window soon, whether you like it or not. So you had kind of the power of suggestion or telepathy. It's never really explained, but it's just so she's the next iteration of humanity is kind of what they're looking at. But just really well acted, even though these are all really short and 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but you can find them all on YouTube and online. And I just really was enthralled by this story. Kind of Flowers of Algernon type. Well, of course that's a different, but just in terms of the examining super intelligence vis-a-vis science fiction and normal people, what's the effect of that. So really well done. And the acting was pretty good too. So this general, you really hate this general, and the scientist is more of the friendly / father figure. But really great episode. So definitely watch it. Won't take you that long, and it's better than a lot of stuff that's out there today.
Cool. Excellent. Now I want to watch it.
You gotta watch it.
You both make me want to watch it, then I never think about it when I'm in front of the TV these days.
I thought I reminded you last night.
Did you?
I thought I did. I can't remember.
That's what I know. You may have, and I totally forgot.
Yeah. But it's it's just the interaction between the girl and the general was just really neat. And what the ending is just fantastic too. So it's it's a little abrupt. I mean, I could see where
Right.
Raquel's docking at some points, but it makes sense as as far as the time that they have. This is basically like a stage play, but a little truncated in the end. But use your imagination, and you appreciate it. And
Yeah, but you're allowed to
that's
give
when
it
it
a
works.
10 out of 10. You're
Yeah,
allowed to give
no, I
it
know.
a 10 out of 10 because not because, oh, everybody's entitled to their opinion. No, I don't mean that. I mean the fact that you attached yourself to the idea. So you attached yourself to the science fiction in the story, and you found it inspiring and interesting and engrossing, and that's incredibly important. That's exactly what science fiction is supposed to do. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to massage those ideas. It does need to tickle all the right parts in your brain, to get you
Yeah,
interested in scientific concepts, and science fiction concepts, and how humanity interacts with technology and futurism and outer space. So I think it's amazing that you gave it a 10 out of 10, and that your reasoning, that your rationale was that it was science fiction, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do with this endeavor, is get people to fall in love with the idea of exploring ideas again instead of
yeah,
exploring feelings. To me, it's just nauseating, watching this entire epoch, this entire zeitgeist, this whole culture, circling the drain of their
feelings.
yeah, and it's always their own feelings. It's not even the feelings of others, but their own. So if we're
They need to
all,
be represented by the characters'
yeah,
feelings. Yep,
and so
yep.
that they're looking into to media, to only to find their own self gratification, and only themselves, and science fiction is the antithesis of that. It asks you to go beyond your feelings, to engage your intellect and engage with your environment, with your future, with the things that are being created, with ideas and the ideas of others. And so, Mark, I'm going to give you an A plus on this one. I
Oh,
accept
thank
your
you.
10 out of 10, because you fell in love with the idea, which means you're in love with science fiction. You get an A plus, dude.
All right, I passed the course.
You passed the course, and it's not
Well,
even done.
and this ties into the episode of UFO that we're watching tonight too.
Hmm.
And in terms of how we mentioned that during the watch party, how modern TV or modern writers would, that episode couldn't happen today. But plus, you would have
No.
had about 2 hours of talking in hallways about people's feelings. So it's just amazing how it's just they're just exploring the idea here, and they're not, like the mom. They didn't have a half hour of consoling the mom because she, the daughter was staying at the military base. So it's just the mom. We'll take you to your. We'll drive. She didn't even drive. They're like, we'll drive you home. Thank you. We'll see you
Hmm.
later.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, and even if we get to step out, even if we don't look at that type of parenting and make a judgment on it, even if we don't do that, even if we just explore the fact that we were at a different place in our culture when you had Spock parenting and pre psychology and kids working when they were 8 years old in a wash house, and uh, it's the chance to explore ideas, situations, technology, ideas, and yeah, so you have caught on to the idea entirely, and this is exactly what it's about. It invigorates the mind, it invigorates the soul, and so cool.
The deishness.
So should we move on to the next one?
Go for it.
sure.
We did receive some really nice comments from Could Not Be Reached for further comment, insofar as he said, this could have definitely inspired Cronenberg on Scanners. This is exactly what we're talking about,
Never
this
know.
exchange of beautiful
Could be.
ideas. Yeah.
You probably read the
Okay.
short story, if nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The next episode is Test Flight. Test Flight in the USA is listed as season 1, episode 10, and it first aired on October 26, 1951. And what's really great here is, folks, the writer of this, so we have an actual writer. There was a short story here, once again, in this terrific show, this terrific program. His name is Nelson Bond. And then we had a wonderful gentleman by the name of Mel Goldberg come in and make a teleplay of it. And what a magnificent job they did. This is the story of Elon Musk in 1951. It is just so peppy and wonderful. It will have you doing stifled snort after stifled snort, and you will just be so amused by this beautiful story and the parallels betwixt Elon Musk and the title character Wayne Crowder. So he's developing a space program, and he wants to go to Mars. He wants to be the first. He wants to get it developed. So this is a fascinating prediction. It is absolutely delightful. I'm going to refer to Elon Musk as Wayne Crowder from now on. I was just tickled pink by this. And there's this wonderful character, a gaunt inventor. He's very quite gaunt and these darkened eyes and very opaque skin. And he's this tortured inventor. And he goes and he meets with Wayne Crowder. And of course, Wayne contracts him to build a rocket. And he agrees, but he says that he must go with Wayne into outer space. Otherwise, the deal's off. So obviously, Wayne Crowder agrees to this. Wayne is a majority shareholder fighting for his quote unquote SpaceX project. And there is a minor shareholder within his corporation, a gentleman by the name of Davis. And he is working the board against Wayne Crowder. They don't want him doing SpaceX. They think it's foolhardy. It's a waste of money. And so there's that little bit of the story that makes it even more interesting. So Wayne and the gaunt man, this inventor with these dark eyes and sunken in cheeks, they launch successfully into outer space. And they're up there and everything is fine. And then something huge happens. And I can't tell you what it is. Otherwise, I will ruin the story for you. And I'm not going to do that. However, I am going to say this. This is a 9 out of 10. It's almost a 10 out of 10 story. It is great fun. It is a wonderful way to spend 20 minutes of your day. And this episode specifically, when I watched it, the Science Appreciation Foundation produced this story specifically, the test flight one. It is, it's almost a 10 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10. I just absolutely loved it. I don't even know why I gave it 9 out of 10. It probably deserved 10 out of 10. You have to watch this. You need to take 20 minutes out of your day. You need to sit down and you need to watch this. And Elon Musk, if he's out there and by some sort of bizarre coincidence, he's listening to this, or someone who knows him is listening to this, or it appears in an algorithm somehow and he hears about it. He is Wayne Crowder. Elon Musk is Wayne Crowder. A delightful, delightful story. So this is a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Brilliant ideas. And welcome, Gray Invader.
Gray Invader.
And now I'm going to turn it over to Mark, who also watched Test Flight Season 1, Episode 10 of Tales of Tomorrow. And so tell me, what do you think of Test Flight, Mark?
I didn't like this one as much. Not saying it's not good. I didn't, love it as much as the other one, because I thought the story was a little bit more predictable, although not entirely. There's a great twist at the end, which we won't ruin. As I get shin kicked so hard that I could never type on my keyboard again. But part of the problem too, I was just trying to stay up to watch Star Trek P Hard, and I loved the first episode, and then I started watching this one. I started to fall asleep through the episode. No more blame the episode, but when you're trying to stay up, because I didn't
Yes.
want spoilers, and I probably should have just gone to bed and watched the sucker in the morning when I woke
Well,
up.
you did have a lot to watch yesterday, though. You had at least
Yeah.
4 programs to watch. That's quite a lot of television in one day.
Yeah. So this one, I didn't think the acting was good on in terms of some of the characters. But I got to rewatch it, I guess. But I watched the end again tonight, and the twist is a nice twist. And I was thinking of Elon Musk as I was watching it, which is interesting. And or who was the CLOBBERIN? So who was the guy that made the spaceship in his backyard? Was it Andy, the Junk
Andy
Man
Griffith.
show? Andy Griffith, right?
The Salvage One was a great
Salvage
show.
One, yeah.
Was this like that sort of?
Well, not well. He's more of a industrialist here, but think of he's making his own rocket ship. This is the interior of the rocket.
Salvage One was a fun show.
Fun show, yeah. This is it's not so realistic, but they're doing the best that they can, on a very limited budget.
1951.
Yeah, and this is this is the rocket ship interior, which quite spacious for the time, but it doesn't matter if it's just part of to fulfill the story. So the Elon Musk character is just saying we've got to do this, probably it was more based on Howard Hughes at the time, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
during the time period. But
minus the long
Tony
nails
Stark,
and collecting belly button lint and living in a
that
weird
didn't happen
hotel.
to the 70s. Yeah,
I know, but you know what I'm saying.
Tony Stark
didn't.
Yeah, I know. I know. Tony Stark didn't get that way to the set. Oh, I love Howard Hughes. Well, his earlier accomplishments, yeah, but unfortunately, he wanted to fit in the suit of armor with those long fingernails. But because Tony Stark was partially based on Howard Hughes at the time. Everyone thinks Elon Musk, but it's just good twist in the end. I'll definitely have to rewatch it, but still definitely worth watching. I give it like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. But that's with an asterisk next to it because the P Hard was keeping me up late.
Asterisk falls asleep.
Yeah,
incomplete grading.
Why don't they just put them on at when it's midnight in your time zone? Really? I mean, come on, people. Make you stay up to 3 a.m. Then the California people get to watch it at 12. At 12, that's no fair. Come on, that's discriminating against East Coasters here. Let's go.
Who
you guys
wants to
get
watch
better
that
weather.
Period. What do you mean discriminate?
Well, they get better. Well,
anyone who watches the filth, it cannot ever be accused of being discriminating. Their discernment is obviously in question right off the hop. I mean, they should be forced to watch it in the wee hours of the morning because.
But why do people in California get to watch it at midnight and have to wait till 3 a.m.? That's not fair.
Hey, Herc. Welcome.
The tequila.
The really tiny violins are playing everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Anyway.
Well,
but it's definitely worth watching. Yeah, definitely worth watching. Yep.
Okay, so that's it, folks. That is your segment of Tales of Tomorrow. And next week we'll have 2 more for you. As I sort through, remember I committed to all of you that I would look through archive.org and I would look through all of the sources to find all of the episodes that were released to the public domain and that are available for viewing. And so it's going to be a bit of a hunt as I look for them. If you ever have any difficulty finding them, please let me know. I should say this week that I watched A Child is Crying. I watched that one on YouTube. There are 2 people on YouTube showing the full episode, and it doesn't have any audio or video errors. And the test flight, I believe I watched that on archive.org last night. So I will be hunting them all down and we're going to go through them and you are going to feel inspired by ideas and by science fiction again. Instead of engaging your feelings, we're going to engage your whole body, your whole psyche. We're going to engage your brain. We're going to engage your intellect, and your feelings. It's going to be wonderful as you sink your teeth into something cerebral for a change.
Nice. Excellent.
So I'm going to list the episodes that we're missing. So if anyone can find those, if anyone knows, maybe they've been lost to history. I didn't find, with Doctor Who, it's so more well documented, so you know exactly like which episodes are missing, which episodes,
Yeah.
reconstructions. But for this episode, these episodes, there's no article where maybe I'm missing it, where I'm trying to find like, oh yeah, these are gone for good. They never say that there are a bunch of episodes missing. They're just saying most of them entered in the public domain. So I'm assuming some were lost. But if anyone knows, that'd be we'd really appreciate it. So yes, we're missing Woman at Land's End, The Last Man on Earth, Errand Boy, and The Monsters. Correct, Raquel? I think those
That
were
is correct up to
so
this
far
date.
up to this day. Yep.
Yeah, and we're going through it methodically in a linear fashion, folks. And I want to do it that way because it's incredibly important that we don't just throw it out there. Because Mark and I have advanced techniques for looking for things, and we also want to make sure that we go through the list in a methodical way to make sure that they're available or not available. So we'll be bringing that to you. We'll get the footwork done on that, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Excellente. Excellent. Well, that's great. Now I feel so left out. I got to force myself. I got to make notes to myself or something to watch it and catch up. Now it'll be tough it'll be something to binge watch though, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can go through them pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I need that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I need
and
that sometimes.
they're just and they maintain their beauty as short stories, Captain. Like you still feel like
Yes.
you sat down. That's the beauty of the short story. The short story is just in one sitting. You get to go to a different place and feel a different idea, think in a different way, discover something, engage with science, and then you're done. And it all happens very quickly, and it leaves you wanting more. That's the beauty in the science fiction short story, is always leaving you wanting more, always leaving you in that beautiful little place that you sat down to just for a few moments to enjoy yourself, and then you'll find yourself longing to go back to that place.
Certainly better than me being a lazy bastard and not reviewing stuff on my own damn show.
I love you. It's okay, Andy. You're pretty busy. Hey,
no, I'm not.
Captain James T. Skywalker.
Skywalker.
He's here. So, guys,
What up, duder?
Should we move on?
Are ready for UFO?
Yeah, I think we should do it.
Okay. All right, folks. As you know,
slideshow ready.
Before we get ready for that, before we do that, we'll make a report on our poll and get ready for our UFO episode of the evening. But first, our poll. 44 votes, and the question was wait a minute, hang on a second. This one. Massive throat clear there. What show would you like to have us review next on the Clubhouse? When I say next, that's really second next, but still.
It's number 2 next.
All right. Okie dokie, with 44 votes. In first place, and it had a monster lead before. Now it's hanging by a thread. It is first place is Babylon 5 at 32%. But in second place, Number 6, The Prisoner, has jumped up with 30%.
I'm just excited by the choices. I'll review any of these.
I love it. Now, and back in third place with 20% is Farscape. And the real show we're going to be reviewing next is all the way in last place. That's Blake 7 at 18%.
I love Blake 7.
I don't get a vote anyway, so because I would have voted for that.
Blake 7. If I could explain Blake 7 to everyone in the audience, it is like going to a science fiction play at your local theater house. And it is so engrossing and so beautiful. It is definitely a place you go. It's very immersive, and everything around it that surrounds it just adds to it in that very stage-like way. So I definitely recommend it. If we go through it, I hope you'll stick with us, because I guarantee you will like it. It is objectively terrific science fiction. It's not really that subjective stuff where you're like, oh, that's stupid or whatever. It's actually really good. Like, even if you wound up not liking it, you would still appreciate it and respect it for what it accomplishes and what it tries to do and what it brings to the viewers. So yeah, Blake Seven's really good, folks.
We can get through it, that and The Prisoner, way quicker than we can get through Babylon 5, which will take longer, but
That'll
still
take a long time.
we're gonna do them all. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Fun stuff to review. So UFO.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I will do the intro for the boys here. Okay, folks, we are doing prod order, the Fanderson order. That's the way Mark wanted to do it. And of course, I love this kind of stuff because it's academic and it's cool. So we're playing along. So this week's episode is A Question of Priorities. It is season 1, episode 5 ITV, but it's prod code 8. Yeah, believe it or not, we've already reviewed 8 episodes of UFO. And it was first broadcast on October 14th, 1970. And I'm going to read the summary from Wikipedia. I haven't pre-read it, so it might be a little rough going, especially because it's user-generated content. If it sucks, if it's wrong, I promise we'll correct it. Commander Edward Straker's son, Johnny, is hit by a car and taken to hospital. Straker arrives at the hospital with his ex-wife, Mary, to find that Johnny is allergic to the antibiotics the hospital has available. Straker uses his position to order an experimental anti-allergenic antibiotic to be flown from New York to Britain by shadow transport. In Ireland, an alien escapes from a crashing UFO and starts transmitting from the home of an elderly blind woman. The transmissions are intercepted by Shadow HQ, and Colonel Alec E. Freeman diverts the transport aircraft, unaware that it is carrying the antibiotics, to investigate the signals. Oh, wow. Unaware it is carrying the antibiotics to investigate the signals. Who wrote this? Whoever you are, shin kicks. Shin kicks.
Even commas won't save that sentence.
No, not even a comma can save it. When Straker discovers this change of schedule, he knows that he cannot order the transport to Britain, as his duty to shadow overrides any personal needs. But Mary, well, I don't like the way they put that either. That sort of takes away from the sacrifice of it. So we're going to fix that. We're going to explain why. But Mary challenges Straker when he tells her the transport is being delayed because of a more important matter. Shadow mobiles carried by the transport are sent to investigate the alien transmissions, but before the mobiles can make contact, another UFO arrives and kills the alien. It appears the alien was trying to defect. The transport then continues on to Britain, and Straker rushes to the hospital with the antibiotics, but it proves too late, as his son has died, with a tearful Mary saying that she never wants to see her ex-husband again. So that was a pretty crappy summary, but don't worry, folks. We're going to break it down.
We'll do a better job. Yeah.
We're going to do a much better job between the three of us. So now with the summary out of the way, I have some notes, but I'm going to throw it over to the captain. Our captain is our leader here, our amazing leader. Captain, my captain, tell me, what did you think of A Question of Priorities?
Well, my goodness, it is. This is one of the absolutely brutal episodes of this show, which again, brilliant and brutal, because you just, I don't know, man. By the way, I love this beginning scene here where they're on the set of Harlington Straker Studios, and they show a bunch of areas where they filmed The Prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool. But anyway, this show, of course, they filmed the show, a lot of it's ITV studio, stuff like that. This one, I mean, this is just, we get to see, this is if you're starting and you're watching it in prod order, or the order that we're watching it in, this is the first real glimpse of some humanity for Straker. We haven't really seen much of him other than the pragmatic, icy cold, leader,
Mm-hmm.
commander. We see his mini-me there, his son, and we get to meet. We find out, of course, we don't know this. We find out later some more about his personal life, but we don't know that he has a son until this very scene here, and you get to see He's riding around in Bessie right there. It's not really Bessie, but it looks sort of like Bessie.
Mhm.
Yep.
Right there, look. They filmed Living in Harmony, the Western episode of The Prisoner, right there. Amongst other things.
Imagine how much fun that would be for the kid too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Gray
And-
Invader. Gray Invader says that guy has a panty on his head. Gray Invader.
He did.
Unfortunately, that was basically the style of robbery back then in real life and in fiction. So ladies'
Yeah.
pantyhose were very commonly used in armed robberies
That's
while I
right.
was growing up in the 1970s.
To disguise your face.
People
Yeah.
used to do that all the time.
Because
Yeah,
you could actually pull the pantyhose in a direction in which you could fully distort your face, and they were readily available, and you could discard them quite quickly,
Right.
and in a discreet way. Nobody's going to, there are plenty of pantyhose in the landfill, so it's not like you could track them down. So yeah, that was a part of
Right.
my childhood and a part of our society at that time.
Yeah. So, yeah, this one basically, well, it is a question of priorities that we learn later. But it's just soon as his son gets hit by the car, I started describing blame. I'm like, you know what? If what's her name hadn't chased Straker away, his ex-wife was being a biatch to him.
Yes.
That wouldn't have happened. Even though,
Yep.
can't
You
blame
can't
anybody.
blame
It was
her
an
for that.
accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was being,
True, I thought of that
just
too.
give him a
but
minute. It was like, don't be such a
Yeah.
biatch.
That's what I have in my notes. However, I'm way harsher than you are.
Oh, I got you. Well, anyone else? Go ahead. And we'll go with the notes after if Mark has anything first. Because
just echo those sentiments. Yeah, that's as I said
this
before.
episode
I
is a
hate
gut
this.
punch, man.
I hate this episode and I love this episode.
Yes.
Best of times, worst of times. So it shows you how Strakers puts the defense of the planet and the war against the aliens first. And a lot of people I don't think would have made that decision, and maybe you could have had a huge incident or something could have gone wrong, or maybe not necessarily lose the whole war, but something really serious could have happened. And if they'd been able to capture this alien who's trying to defect, that would have greatly aided the war effort. So you've got the tragedy of Straker trying to save his family. He's divorced from his wife, and you can obviously tell from this great writing in this episode that they've gotten divorced because he's never there for the family. He's always, and she thinks he's just, working at this motion picture studio. She has no idea that he's a top secret head of this agency defending the planet and trying to protect everyone, not just,
but given the age
his
of
family.
the son, she would have known about his military background. She would have known when he was an active colonel. Given the age of the son, right? So if you take the age of the son and then you take the time that it took for her to be pregnant, this is definitely somebody who knows that that he was very high up in the military.
But right now he's quote unquote working for a studio. So we don't know that's true. It's a good point, but we don't know the exact story. But it's part of the reason they left. You're assuming it's because he could never be there because duty comes first for Straker.
Ha! You said duty.
Right.
Sorry,
I said duty.
I'm not immature, but I need to say that for Eric. Eric K will bust my chops if I don't call you on the duty.
Yeah, and I think as this slideshow is going, I think too part of the reason that the husband walked out, so I think maybe she's trying to avoid a fight. So when the new husband walks out, boyfriend.
That's definitely implied. That is definitely implied
why
that
don't you
Meathead
leave
will come outside and Meathead will start a fight. Yeah.
So why don't you just leave now? And then the boy, unfortunately,
Well, Straker could take him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straker could take that goof. Meathead.
Look at that gorgeous car. Look at that car. How gorgeous
that car. I like Straker's
and
car.
Unfortunately, that they live on a corner where there's a Porsche that almost hits Straker when he's leaving. It looks like a high-speed corner there.
Yeah.
And of course, the little kid, unfortunately, gets hit by the car. And the kid has really no chance, but it's only because Straker works for works for Shadow that he can actually send this experimental medicine on a transport that they don't have in Great Britain.
Good point.
America, I guess America somehow has this super duper antibiotic that part of it that I'm drifting to show notes here, but I didn't believe that the kid would die that quickly, from an infection, but I guess that's
Mhm.
part of the story. It doesn't really take it away,
Yeah,
away from the
but it's
story. But
also important to recognize that a great deal of the filming happened in 1969, and certainly medicine wasn't what it is
No, it wasn't.
today, and definitely that definitely forces you, the viewer, to engage with the science and the science fiction, to go and look it up and say, what was the state of antibiotics at this time. And what kind of antibiotics would be used for a child in John's position and Jonathan's position. So it is quite sad. It's very sad.
Just a second, I want to tell everybody, because Gray and Vader, a couple were talking about it. A couple of yes, UFO streaming in a few places. I think there's every episode is still up on YouTube.
Mhm.
Try to find the production order if you could. Also, I watch them on Roku TV. And people are saying there are a couple others, like archive.org.
Mhm.
Has
I
it, according
watch
to someone in the chat.
I'm in Canada, so Gray Invader, this is an international show. So CLOBBY is in the United States of America, and so that's how he's
And
watching.
Freebie. Yeah.
And then HB is in Oz. He's in Australia. I'm in Canada, and I am watching through the Amazon TV.
Freebie has it also. Hey, Lady Mist. Love you,
Hey, Lady Mist.
Good to see you. So Freebie, a few places have it. So, but
Mhm.
YouTube's
I have a
easy.
list that I'll pop in the chat, but it's very easy to find. That
Amazon Prime,
not like
has it.
Tales of Tomorrow.
Sean Carter,
Yeah.
Amazon Prime has it in the US. Okay, it's Freebie. Yeah.
And Gray Invader, we are doing the Fanderson order, which I think is pretty much prod order from here on out, whereas Fanderson is not really prod order in the beginning, but from this point forward, it's pretty much prod order.
Did you notice that
a couple
title
episodes are flipped?
Did you notice that the title of the episode is Question of Priorities, not a question of priorities in the episode? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Saying, anyway.
Yes. So there's a great tension, great acting here. So you've got the family that's been already the family's broken, but Straker loves this kid. You could see that clip in the beginning was just so joyful of him hanging out with his dad, and the mom is obviously a cutie patootie too. Not that matters, but she's stunning.
Yeah, she was beautiful.
She's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that interaction with the son. So you can tell Straker loves his son, and he comes home a half hour late. He's like basically saying, "I thought you wouldn't mind." But yes, there's great drama here, and you just Straker's trying to save his son by sending this transport early, and he's kind of bending the rules too, right? He's sending this transport 7 hours early, but the big point that we'll get to him. The biggest point of discussion, I think, is he doesn't tell anyone at Shadow.
Never.
That's right.
No one knows what happened. So could you imagine? As I'm watching this, I've watched this about 3 or 4 times now, or 5 times. He doesn't tell his number 2. He doesn't confide in anyone, because the other people on the base would probably say, "You go save we don't care, well, you go save, let's save your son."
I don't think they would do that. I don't think they would do that. Billions of lives hang in the balance. I think what it is it's a cerebral theme being introduced by the Andersons here, and that is the theme of the burden of power.
Not just that. You're forgetting one thing. He never explains to her why he had to do it. He has to take that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, he has to let them hate him for just being a jerk, thinking he just didn't give a crap.
Yeah,
Nobody.
I have the same thing in my notes. Yep,
we'll let you
terrible.
go with your notes. It's horrible.
Okay, in my notes I just said Ed Straker. I said pretty much the same thing as Clubby and Mark. Ed Straker is a playful, kind, loving father, despite carrying the weight of the entire world on his shoulders. So here we have this burden of power. And Mary is an asshole. And I don't usually partake in profanity on air, but this person deserves it. She points out that Ed took extra time with his son, and it's 30 minutes. So she points that out and scolds him. She admonishes him for it, but asks for a change in schedule at the drop of the hat. um and makes it seem as though it's okay. So it's all right for her to make changes at the drop of a hat, but it's not okay for him. I thought that it was horrible that she didn't allow Johnny to show his father the model. And she asked Stricker to leave, and she was incredibly rude to him. But the only reason why she did that was because of Meathead Rutland. Rutland, the meathead. She was worried about how he would feel. And so I think that that is absolutely terrible. Ed Straker, like Kirk, we are shown this is a demonstration of this burden of power that Ed Straker must bear. Ed Straker, like Kirk, he can save the world, but he can't save his own son because he is responsible for the world, and it's awful. We see an introduction of antibiotic science. And I wrote Meathead and Moron Mary. I feel so sorry for Jonathan. Straker makes profound, revealing, and heartfelt comments about divorce. So this is a very new concept in 1970, certainly in 1968 when this was written, and presumably 69 when it was filmed. Alec Freeman is a beautiful person and a very loyal friend. I love how he goes into the office and tries to pry it out of Straker without prying, just trying to be there for him. I thought it was a terrifying situation for Mrs. O'Connor in Ireland, even though she has the wrong accent. I thought the idea of a defector was really cool. In Prod Order, the idea of a defector is a very titillating idea, given the way that the aliens are presented in a different fashion in Production Order. So I thought that that was really cool. And of course, I wrote in yelling all caps, Pete Carlin gets the job done! Exclamation point, because Pete Carlin is my hero. I love that guy. And those are all my notes.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing we didn't talk about as much was the blind lady. It's kind of reminded me the scene where the Frankenstein monster goes to the cabin with the blind gentleman, and isn't that where you find out he's scared of fire? But I'm just remembering the movie, not the book. But yes, that's a great scene too, because you don't think that. When the Frankenstein monster,
Oh yeah.
the
blind
blind,
man.
the blind man,
It's
yeah.
like
Or if you
fire,
want to
yeah.
talk, yeah, or if you want to reference Young Frankenstein, but Frankenstein. But that was a great scene too, because initially the way they play it, there's a doctor visiting her. You don't realize that she's blind right away, and the actress does a really nice job.
She does.
And then finally you realize the UFO defector. I mean, he's wearing a spacesuit. He's blue. And he
green.
obviously
Green.
he does never
Mike
speak
said
green.
green.
Yeah, the green. Yeah, he never speaks, but so you assume he can understand her, but he never speaks or says anything, so he's mute, kind of like the monster. In some ways, and she's very nice, and just says, "Don't hurt my parrot, Billy." Just why don't you just leave eventually? She says, why don't you just leave? What do you want? And he never explains, that he's setting up a distress call or a signal so that the shadow group can actually hear their conversation. It's on their signal. So it's really ingenious. There's a lot of tension there, and you're like, what's this alien gonna do? And then in the end he gets zapped, and you never find out. They said they lost all that information. They could have discovered everything. And if this person or alien was willing to defect, they would have spilled the beans, because shadow group doesn't know what's really anything about they're almost in the dark like we are.
They just know that they're harvesting our bodies.
Yeah.
And when they're not harvesting our bodies, they're harvesting our organs. So either they're using us as a vessel to put as many alien parts in there as possible, or they're extracting our organs to help them endure. Right? It's obvious they're a society in peril. It's heavily implied. Yeah. So
but they
this
don't
whole
know
idea of
other
the
than that.
defector introduced in Prod Code 8 rather than 5, I think that it proves that Prod Code I think Prod Code can be very, very effective in delivering on story development. And so for this purpose, I thought that it enhanced our view of the aliens and the potential for the good alien, the bad alien, the defector, and the one that comes heartless to harvest organs or cadavers, right?
Yeah. So we miss out, other than, all those things that's basically all we know about these aliens, is, as you just said. But other, their society, everything else is just it's a mystery, which is good too. I like that, not knowing everything at once, right? And it's not one of those Jar Jar Abrams mystery boxes. I mean, it's well done mystery. And here's the older lady who's blind, and at first like I said, you don't realize, and she does a nice job. So you've got the tension of trying to, when's that plane going to get there, and then obviously the plane gets diverted because they say, oh, Straker, you must have been a genius or a psychic to know that we'd need the ground units available.
Terrible.
And then the look on his face, it's coming up, you can see, he's like, what he says, he slips up, he says, what did you do?
Yeah.
And you could see his whole body expression.
Imagine if Freeman ever found out. Imagine if Alec ever found out about that. Alec could not bear that type of responsibility. Only someone like J.T. Kirk and Ed Straker can manage that burden of responsibility to society and to total strangers, to the entire society, to billions of lives, rather than his own son. I think it would crush Alec to know that, especially the way that Alec walks in to his office and tries to get him to talk. He knows that something's eating him up inside, and he just loves him. And you guys know how I feel about Alec Freeman. Alec Freeman is a loyal, brilliant friend and leader. He is a true leader. He's not a guy who goes after a title. He's somebody who takes on responsibility and feels tremendous responsibility for the people who he leads. And he's just wonderful at it. And so imagine, I don't think Alec can handle it. There's no way Alec could handle finding out that Jonathan has died because he redirected Skydiver.
No.
I was going to ask too, do you think anyone ever found out? I think Straker kept this with
Eventually
him.
they had to know his son died. Keely Chow, roll tide.
Right?
Hey, roll tide.
Eventually they had to know that his son passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that come out in the news or the obituaries, or wouldn't that? So I'm wondering if.
Well, they would know, but they would say it was an accident and they hit the car. That's that.
But Alec might put
the doctors know about it though.
Yep.
Yeah, Alec might put the two and two together. So and Straker's, Phantom had mentioned the Concorde, but you got to have a lot of pull to put some medicine on a Concorde. I get. I mean, maybe you could do it, but Straker has access to it is a supersonic jet going across the Atlantic to get here that quickly, and it's just the tragedy of even if he had put the on, it got, obviously the Concorde wouldn't get diverted, but no one, and that's why I think maybe some of these people, they might have said something.
Alec had to put it together later because they find out when his son passed, and that's going to be common knowledge that his son passed away. He's a public figure, remember, as the head of Harlington Straker Studios.
Yep. And
it was an accident, hit by a car, and Alec's gonna think, well, why were you here all this time when your son was in the hospital? He's gonna understand it. Because he had this going on, he was being diligent and being, seeing to his job. So I think that might be enough where Alec might not think about it, but then Alec could probably go, so I wonder why you were having that. I wondered why you had that plane diverted.
Yeah.
Or launch early, rather. Yeah. But anyway, we'll never know.
Never know, but I think you're
right.
But
it's so interesting that all three of us are thinking about that expanded world in universe. Because of just how wonderful their friendship is. And that definitely could have been explored in another season. Because that I don't think Stricker would ever tell him.
No. But
No, he would
figure
have to
it
find
out
out himself because
I think he
of the
put two and two
nature.
together and find out. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the nature of Alex's personality.
Yeah. She's a. Mm.
Yeah. So,
She
but I wonder.
she's a see you next Tuesday. This one here, Mary. I do not like her at
You're saying
all.
Straker had bad judgment?
No, the thing is Straker, come on, look at he almost
Jeez.
slept with that journalist.
No, I mean, what?
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
he doesn't. I don't think he's as discriminating when it comes to knocking boots. I mean,
look,
I
she's a
think
hot
he
chick. What
has
do you do?
standards, but
But look, he was gone all the time. He couldn't have known that it was going to put that kind of strain on their relationship, but he had to do what he had to do. And his job really, maybe, if he's going to devote himself to protecting the world, Dad Man Walking, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Dad Man.
Maybe like Kirk, he shouldn't have a family or be married.
That's right. That's right.
But Kirk saw it that way, but not all captains do. But Kirk saw it that way.
But at the same time, Mary should not have been bumping uglies with a colonel in the military, because
she should know better.
She should know better. So it can't all be Straker's fault. Mary needs to take responsibility.
She didn't know about Shadow though. She just thought
she
it was an
didn't.
ordinary.
But you'd have to imagine that when he was on active duty as a colonel in the military, though, that he was missing a great deal of the time anyway. So, and I realize it can be frustrating, and you don't choose who you fall in love with, or however all of those cliches go. But I'm just saying, Mary bears a tremendous amount of responsibility here, and she can't dump it all at Straker's door.
No.
There's also, being a military spouse, it's got to be really darn tough too. So, I mean, that's a big sacrifice for everyone who's protecting our country.
As far as she knew, but you know what? No, as far as she knew, I'm sorry. Now when you think about it, though, as far as she knew, he was working for Harlington Straker these days.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but what really gets me, what's really disturbing is that she would I don't know, that she would marry that dude who turned out to be, a Doctor Who villain like Dr. Sullen, and the warlord of Rogue Time Lord as well.
It's also the fact that she didn't even ask to change the child's name. So Jonathan is a Rutland, instead of a Straker, which is ridiculous. And he had no rights at the hospital, which I also think is ridiculous. But this is real life, like the way they're playing this out. This is a scenario that is very, realistic. But it does not make me a huge fan of Mary. Let's just put it that way. You know what you're doing when you start messing around with a military guy, or you start messing around with a military gal. That person is going to be gone all the time, and they're going to be sending home all of their money. And, it's all fine and good to say, oh, like he was an absentee dad. But,
agreed.
Those people are sending all that money home to you. And women at that time rarely worked. And so if you get the child all to yourself and you don't have to work, but somebody else is out working his tail off so that he can have a family and support his family, to me, I think it's pretty easy to start laying down the low blows about him being a quote unquote absentee father. You know what you're getting when you get involved with somebody who's in the military, especially a colonel. So the boo-hoos for Mary are a no for Raquel. No boo-hoos for Mary. No boo-hoos for Mary.
Wow.
I slightly disagree, but I think that she's got a couple of lines where she says, don't let us down again. So there's an inference there that it's goes above and beyond not being there, but letting them down. And it's in the way that the series is filmed, it's not to make Straker look like a bad dad. It's more like he can't be there for his family.
No, we know why he's got to do what he's got to do. Yeah.
We know why he's got to do what he's got to do. But this is, once again, getting into that theme of the burden of power, how J.T. Kirk and Ed Straker, they have to save the world, but they can't even save their own son. And it's very, very sad.
And he has to keep it secret, too. So that's the other thing. J.T. Kirk people know what he's doing, unless you're on a secret mission, of course. But I'm more sympathetic to Marion. Plus, she's defending her son too, so she's Mama Bear, and her son has been hurt.
Why
and she
didn't
doesn't
Mama
care.
Bear reach out, grab her son by the arm, and say, "Stay where you are"? Why did she let him run after the dad? Not good.
Well, you're not going to assume a kid that old too is going to run right across the street either. So, trust me, I'm the biggest worry ward in the universe. Talk to my wife about.
You're Team Mary. I'm Team Straker.
You're gonna put your. I just sympathize with her, but you're gonna put your kid like more. It's like you're gonna put our kids in bubble wrap. I'm just a paranoid lunatic about when the kids were young about getting hurt all the time, and I grew up in the 70s. Jumping my bike off of long ramps and crashing into rocks and doing flips and things. So I guess it's it's all relative.
But the bottom line is that this is at a time, and I grew up in the 1970s. Okay, this is at a time when men had to shoulder that burden in silence. And so society can't have its cake and eat it too. Society can't make men bear the responsibility, the financial responsibility, and the emotional responsibility to be tough, to be quiet, to hold it all in, and then at the same time facilitate women to wear their heart on their sleeve and be able to work through those issues in a society. And out in the open in society, and have all of the support, the entire support network of friends and family to say, oh, this is terrible. He's gone all the time. He's ruined your marriage. I'm just saying that there are two sides to every story. So it's okay to be Team Mary. Rock on. Have a great time being Team Mary. But I'm Team Straker, because I also see that there are nuances in our society where we sort of glom on to certain narratives and we become too comfortable with them. And the bottom line is people are people. And I have a lot of men in my life, a lot of men who I love very much. And, men also suffer, and men also don't want to be in these positions. And men have had to swallow a lot of stuff while also taking responsibility for it. So it's unpleasant to be in Straker's position as well. And we can see the toll this responsibility is taken on him. And certainly when we're introduced to his relationship with his son, he's playful, he's kind, he's loving, he's engaged, he's getting down at eye level with his son, he's building projects with his son, he's building love and attention and affection with his son. He hurts too. But what society allows him to do, and what his position allows him to do, and how he's allowed to grieve is very much controlled, just as much as Team Mary's perspective and how she is told she's supposed to grieve. So my contention is tell both stories and tell them equally differently, but certainly equally.
And does a great job. I just want to point out we're at this point of the slideshow where Alec, Straker finds out that Alec changed the transport. So you look, I don't know if I captured it, but the look on his face.
Yeah, on the Concorde.
He finds out that the the military transport, the supersonic military what have you done? And normally he would never say, why would that matter? He's like, well, why would they don't say that, but you're reading into that. Alec is like, well, I just diverted it. Why would you care? Why would you care? Right? It's there to, it's just transporting the ground unit. So he has something wrong. And then, of course, when you're watching the video, you can't, this is just a slideshow, but you can see his, shoulders kind of drop, and it's just heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking because, that probably his son's, you thinking his son's, but I'm like, when you get to the end of the episode, you're like, there's no way he's not. Most shows, we got there just in the nick of time and he's saved. And although I don't think I'm watching him, like, I don't think he would die that quickly from an infection from a surgery, but you let that go. That's nitpicking. That's the only nitpick I have on the episode.
No.
Clobby.
Well, this is a very, very, very tough bit where this is an actor who's playing a character that doesn't show emotion. This is such a brilliant performance here because he still doesn't let himself show emotion, when he's just realized his son is probably going to perish. But just to backtrack a little bit on what I'll tell you why I'm Team Straker without going too far into it. I would be team. Not that it's a team. I'm just joking with Raquel there.
Well, yeah, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
I'm in this case. Look, it always takes two sides to tango. Both think that each other are right. Mary probably got into something. She married him. In fairness to her, she didn't know he was going to be taking the weight of the world on his shoulders. She thought he was going to be just a military man who eventually got out to go to work in the movie business, whatever. But we don't know exactly what led to their breakup. She did marry a Doctor Who villain there, so that's not too good. That's Dr. Solon.
He's very rich too.
He's played a renegade Time Lord. He's played a bad guy. 2 Troughton episodes and Dr. Solon on the Brain of Morbius. So you can't be trusted. But also, my fundamental problem with her is not, because again, I wasn't in all the things. We don't know all the reasons why they had their breakup. But when he gets so little time with her, with his son, when she acted like a complete biatch, that didn't let him spend just a couple of more minutes with him to see the toy and to see the model and all that. I know you won't have a story if that happens. I get that. You had it. Yeah. In other words, something has to happen. So I understand that. Nevertheless, she is a complete biatch for that. That
she is.
Made her a botch. Darius Munchausen, thank you for the super sticker, buddy.
Thank you, Darius.
I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. It's good to see you. Popcorn. I need me some popcorn. I'm gonna go make some later. So,
and boss, didn't you think it was the height of hypocrisy for her to chide him for being 30 minutes late and for wanting to see the model and refusing and saying, and rudely telling him you need to leave right now? She turns around and says, but I need to change the visitation date. Let's change it to the 18th. She was being
unreasonable.
Yeah, she's one of those people. She likes the control, right? So, and the Andersons didn't pair her up with Meathead Rutland by accident. It's not by accident that he's a villain. He's supposed to be a D-bag, and he plays it perfectly. He's a D-bag, and she's a good actor. Yeah.
But here's another thing. One other problem. At the end, when it turns out, he's too late, and she doesn't know why. Without him, they had the hope that it was going to happen, and it didn't. Without Straker even coming up with the idea to be able to do what he did, there wouldn't even be, she wouldn't have even had any of that hope all that time for the boy to have a chance to survive. It would have been over. So he tried, and she's going to sit there. And she looks at him. I never want to see you again. Well, look, biatch, this wasn't his fault. He did everything he could. Now, granted, she's not privy. She's not privy to know the circumstances of why the stuff didn't get there. But he tried to get it there, and she should just take that as he tried and wasn't able to get there. But she shouldn't have been. If she wasn't such a biatch, this episode wouldn't happen.
I totally agree. I completely agree.
This episode is
she's finding out here that her son's probably going to die too. So I sympathize with her. I don't appreciate her character, but I sympathize with her character. Someone called me and said, the medicine that was going to save your kid's life is not going to be here now, and then there's no explanation for why. And unfortunately, we know Straker can't, but it's too bad they couldn't come up with a good explanation. Yeah. But he didn't even try to lie to her too, which just shows you.
He didn't even try to lie to her. That's right.
He didn't even lie, and
he didn't explain it at all.
Yeah, I just said we can't. There's been a delay, and of course it's it seems pretty unusual to get a medicine across the pond that quickly back, even in in the far-flung future of 1980. So it's also unusual that to begin with, and then the husband apparently sounds like he's pretty wealthy too, because he said he would charter a plane too independently, and Straker says no, I'll get it done. I can handle it. He's my son, and then it doesn't get handled, unfortunately. So and then his son ends up dying. So through no fault of his own, through crazy.
Circumstances,
bad luck and circumstances. And Brian Hepburn had a good point too. He said maybe by Straker being late, then the meathead was there because she probably said drop the kid off maybe when the meathead's not around, just to avoid conflict. And if you've ever been around divorced friends, not excuse anyone, but people can get awfully petty on both sides or one side, or not exactly act rationally especially then when there's a new spouse involved. So
now you're starting to get to where I was getting at the beginning of the conversation, and I think it's actually really incredible that a television show at this time could venture into this territory to leave this lingering message about about divorce and about being petty and Straker makes all of these profound, revealing and heartfelt comments about divorce, and then we have the visual representation of what happens when you're a petty d-bag or a see you next Tuesday, and how that impacts other people. So there's a whole other layer here. So I love the messages about divorce. I love the messages about the fact that you have to look at both sides. You can't just be all for one person or the other, and people have silent, secret struggles, and you might not know about them. And then I absolutely am blown away and love about this episode, this theme of the burden of power, and how somebody like Kirk, somebody like Straker, can be responsible for the whole world, save the whole world in one episode or in one film, but they cannot save the men cannot save their sons. Sad.
There's an old fable. I don't know if it's a story. I forgot that as a kid. I remember from being a kid. There was a story about a man who had a very, very young boy that eventually he worked at a big railroad where his job was to separate, to pull the lever to separate the tracks for trains, when they're going in and out of the station. And for one, his young son always wanted to go to work with him, and then eventually, when he got old enough, 6, 7 years old, whatever it was, he got to bring him to work one day with him, and the kid wanders off, and then the kid, when he can't find him, and he's in his booth where he does all the controls, and he finally sees the kid. The kid is out on the track, and he's stuck on the railroad track, and 2 trains are coming at very high speed down the track, and if he turns the lever, then they switch tracks and they're fine. And then the problem is one will run over his child, and if he doesn't pull it, then hundreds of people are going to be killed. They're going to be hit, and it's going to be a smack into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the story was about the kid. The man at the last minute had no choice. He sacrificed his child to save all those people.
Yeah. Yeah,
This
it's a
episode
classic
makes me think about
philosophy type situation for rhetoric class, and
I don't know where I heard that, but
it works very well here. That's classic situation for rhetoric or for philosophy class. But yeah, that message is loud and clear here, and it's quite beautiful. I love this episode. For me, obviously, you guys know how much I love UFO. For me, it is second only to TOS. This show is just pure magic to me. I love being engaged in this way through thoughtful science fiction, through these cerebral discourses. They're fabulous. So for me, I gave this one an A++. I love it. I think it's difficult material to work with, but it tickles all the right parts of the brain that make you a more thoughtful, more engaged, more intelligent person as you question what you think is right, how you would react, what you think you should ideally do, and the sorrow and pain of others and the struggles of others. And also this really cool idea about the fact that the people who are coming here to snatch our bodies and our organs, that they might also be dynamic. They want to defect. They're kind and safe people on the moon's surface.
Yeah.
But they also come ruthlessly to chop us up and use us as parts. So There's lots happening in this episode. Like usual, UFO, mwah, chef's kiss. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes. Ezra Goldstein, she's referring to Star Trek, the original series. Shalom, by the way. I also give it an A+. It's just brilliant, and it's brutal, though. It's a rough one. It's such a it's not the only one that really... This is not the only episode of this series that really just punches you right in the gut, and then in a brilliant way. And so, yeah, it's fantastic. It's got a great story.
Could not be reached for further comment. The needs of the many.
Needs of the many. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's just a tough one to watch, but a great one. Mark?
I give it an A and an F. An A because it's A+ because it's so awesome, but F because it kills me when I want to watch. When I go to watch this again,
really
and the kid actually dies in the end, which is which spoiler alert, which is which is the kicker. But most shows aren't written that way. A few shows are, or Game of Thrones, most famous, is a recent show, where characters actually buy the farm, shocking, spoiler alert, you haven't watched Game of Thrones season 1. Blake 7, yep.
Blake 7, when it happens on Blake 7, I hate it.
Yeah, but because it happens to recurring characters, not regular characters, not like one-off characters like this.
Yeah, and you have the
Mark
gravitas.
Raises a great point that when you have all that risk, when you know that they're going to mess with you in that
stakes,
way, is it stakes. It makes you more invested in the show. It totally does. Well, at least for me anyway, when I know that there is no formula, that they might totally mess with your entire universe and that you'll be left reeling, trying to cope with it and figure it all out. That makes the show even better to me.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is how this differentiates from modern writing, and how I mentioned Straker today, he would have had conferences, he would have talked in hallways for hours with all his compatriots and his feelings, and everyone would have gotten together. They would have had a crying session, man. I mean,
they would have had macaroni and cheese.
They would have macaroni and cheese. I gotta get that. I gotta get that clip together so it's like 2 or 3 seconds so we can play it. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't do this today, or just a modern writer they want to examine everyone's feelings, and you don't need that to get the message across to the show. And you could have had the same thing happen exactly maybe today, but you would have had hours and hours of discussion, future episodes. All they would have done was talk about it, So that's what really, it just hits you like a ton of bricks. And the way the episode ends, as we see here, I'll just go back a couple of seconds. It's just it's brilliant where you've got this shot from above, and the new husband, aka Meathead, takes Barry away, and she says, well, her face, where she says, I never want to see you again, that face, and and then but you've got this overhead, this great composure here, and you've got the grid on the floor, which is really stark. It's like a chessboard, and Straker, his
beautiful
chess,
shot. The show.
Last man standing in a huge room.
Yeah, and his chess maneuvers didn't work, right? He failed, even though he tried his best efforts, and just how stark that is, and boom, the episode's over. There's nothing. There's no explanation. There's no after add-on scene. There's no mid-credit scene. There's nothing. It's just boom.
This Space Odyssey furniture, I think it makes it even, pushes it even more, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just great. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole environment, right?
Stark. Yeah.
Yeah,
stark, and modern Stark.
Ed Bishop was in 2001, by the way.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't notice. But he is left alone on that chessboard. But it's also the fact that the ceiling is so high that you realize that he is alone in this world with his feelings.
Yep.
So the room is very big, so that we can imagine the immensity of his pain, and that his world is very empty. It's not occupied by a lot of people who understand what's happening with him. So I love this show. This show is so good. In a world where we're studying micro expressions, there is no need for us to go on for 3 or 4 hours about somebody's intrapersonal feelings, unless we're into soap opera. human beings are intelligent. We can catch on to these subtleties. We can recognize the burdens in others without melodrama. We truly can.
Or you could do it in short doses that make sense. Like one of my favorite all-time moments in TOS is when Spock thinks Kirk is dead. What episode was that? Jim.
Time.
Yeah. Amok Time.
Amok
Yeah.
Time.
So Jim, thank you. And I just love, I rewind that and the smile, Nimoy, of course. Not surprising with saying how brilliant is that smile that he cracks. And it's so genuinely the emotion that it's just so real. And you can picture that, I'm picturing if one of my best buds had, thought he was dead, that's how you would be. And then, but he's a Vulcan, so obviously he's got to shut down. But you get it there perfect, that one perfect second, and then boom. But then they don't dwell on it forever. Bones makes fun of it, but yeah.
Yeah.
We'll say hello to Cardinal Sin. Thank you, Cardinal Sin, for the member chat. Yeah, man. I saw people saying I can't see any chat he's made, but I see everyone saying hello to him. So Cardinal Sin, what's up, Gail? Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, Sean Carter has a second part to that, boss. If you want to read one,
he says A plus for me. This episode should be used in every writing class. It touches on divorce, fatherhood, motherhood, friendship, loyalty, sacrifice, and more. And tells a great sci-fi story. Indeed,
Agreed.
It does it all. It's amazing, and it does so with minimal dialogue. A great example of show don't tell, and an amazing performance. But all the performers, beautiful, brought me to tears.
Sean,
yeah, it was really beautiful and tear-inducing. Absolutely. Well said,
Sean. Really well said. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, bearing that pain,
plus.
Bearing that pain in a quiet and dignified way actually intensifies the pain, where you feel even more empathy for the character because you realize that if should you breathe the wrong way on this person, should a feather happen upon their shoulder, they might break into a billion pieces. So yeah, just the quiet dignity is something that Hollywood has forgotten as of late, and that quiet dignity, I think it should return. There's something very special and sincere about it that draws in your truest self.
Oh man, if this is written by anybody else, and especially in modern day, oh my God.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Oh no. I don't want to.
Yeah, all the emotions they would be talking. It'd be you couldn't. I don't think a modern writer could write this episode today. I don't think they would be in their DNA.
No. And if they were asked to adapt it, like steal the basic thing for another show or something, they would make so many alterations to the basic characteristics. So there's not one way in hell they would allow the one character, like the character that they're supposed to base on Straker, to never tell anybody about his pain or what's happening to him ever throughout. He never mentions it to anyone, and he could have. And
it's in my writing, but I don't write teleplays. I don't write for TV. I just write short stories.
Okay, I'm talking about modern Hollywood jackoffs.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
That would,
and then they would have made it a 10 episode miniseries.
Yeah, they would have to stretch their stupid thing to 10 episodes, like some other morons making TV shows today.
Yeah, it's quite terrible. They just
the
draw all the
emotion-
sincerity out of it, and then you don't feel anything for it. I mean, unless you're a lunatic finger painting in your own feces, how can you just go for 10 episodes discussing the same one feeling? And
Mr. Angel, what's up? What's up, Chef?
Hey, Chef.
Hey.
Don't worry about oversleeping. Just glad you're here. But the other thing too is just the emotion between this father and son. It just feels so real. With another show that we won't mention, just seemed kind of phony to me or just contrived. This really just felt just so organic to the episode, and the actress who was playing Mary was fantastic too. Just that's just so heartbreaking at the end to see all that emotion and losing a child. Anyone who's lost a child, it's it's one of the most horrible things to experience. So she did a great job of portraying that, I thought, and just the the expressions on her face. And it's not easy to act like that too. So I think that she did. And Ed Bishop as Straker as well too, keeping because it's such an emotional gut check this episode too. It's not an easy episode to watch. So what was her name? I'm trying to remember the actress's name, but yeah, she did it.
I have it here, sweetheart.
What
Hold
happened
on.
to our
Nev
logos?
something or something with an N or
Hold on, honey.
yeah, she's a
What
British.
What happened to our logos?
Yeah, Suzanne
Oh,
Neve.
Oh, the slideshow finished, so that's why it there we go.
Isn't that last name that's Irish
names?
Gaelic? Doesn't that mean
Oh, I
Kelly?
turned it off because it was blocking the slideshow.
Oh God!
I'll turn it back on.
Oh God!
Engineers, I'm laughing. They'd love to change things.
Shit.
See,
I'm gonna put
I'm glad I said something because I would not have known how to put that. I still don't know how to turn
it's
that
on
back
the
on.
it's on the top of the theme. It's showed on top of the brand. Yep.
Where?
If you scroll all the way to the top of the brand above all your people, we're chat.
Top of the brand.
Oh
If
boy!
you scroll all the way to the top, you keep scrolling up above your logos. See where it says show display names, show headlines.
Oh God!
See those buttons there?
I'm glad I said something and got you to do it because I wouldn't have been able to find it.
I would have
Anyway,
fixed it
thanks.
for you. Yeah, sorry everyone. Yeah. God damn it, Mark.
God
Jeez.
damn it, Mark. I
Yes.
mean, you know.
Anyway,
Come on.
moving right along, guys.
Please.
Thank you for that.
Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway,
So that will bring our 8th episode of UFO to a close.
Yeah,
A question of
8th.
priorities. Tune in next week where we will be discussing Prod
Which one?
Code 9.
And which episode is that? I
don't
have
know.
my
What is it?
UFO list up here. Where did it go? Where did it
That
go?
is going to be. Hold on.
Which
just
episode
going
is
to
that?
the
Let's see.
Fanderson. You and your
whoa.
fancy schmancy
Yeah.
Fanderson.
Yeah. Is that gonna be
Hold on. I hate it when I have to look stuff up on when we're on.
yeah.
It's terrible. Okay, so episode 9 is Ordeal.
Okie dokie.
Ordeal.
All right, let's take a look at our panel. Our polling. Our poll here right now, folks. Whoa! All right, 52 votes now. And the question is, which show would you like? Would you like? I forgot the word too. Like to have us. Man, I wish I could edit that. Can I edit it? No. Shit. Like to have us. Like us to. Would you like to have us review next on the club? I didn't realize I screwed it in the clubhouse. Sorry. All right. Okay. With 52 votes in, we have a tie for first place now.
What?
The Prisoner and Babylon 5 are tied at 31%.
Ooh.
And a tie for second place between Blake 7 and Farscape.
But we're doing Blake 7 first.
No,
GT
it's
Kirk says, Raquel, I just got the season of UFO. What is the order called so that I can catch up for next week? It is the Fanderson order. But it's irrelevant now because after episode 8, it falls into production code. So if you wanted to follow the production code list provided on Wikipedia, JT Kirk, you'll be sailing along with us, and I'll make sure that we announce it the week before. So as I was saying,
and I always have the watch party too, so it'll have the
and Mark has a watch party. So so a Prod Code 9 will be the episode Ordeal, which is ITV episode 19, and so that will be the next episode we will be looking at next week.
And then I just posted the Fanderson production order too, which has a great synopsis of every episode with all the actors and actresses and some nice little synopsis there. So that's
Glagnar's here, by the way.
In the link.
Glagnar.
Hey, Glagnar.
Ooh, there you go. Coolness. Oh my. Well.
That's a great episode.
Great stuff.
So good.
Oh man. Only it just the worst thing is there's only 26 episodes.
Yeah, it's actually really
Sucks.
sad.
It's a tragedy.
Of course, if it was modern TV, that'd be 4 seasons, but
Yeah. Oh, shit.
right.
Oh, that's terrible. But what you're saying right now
That's
is
true.
so true. It would be 4 seasons, but but the worst part of this will be when everyone falls in love with it, and they're in this, amazing romance with this show, just enamored with it, and then they realize that some studio people thought it would be a good idea to turn the moon into a ship and make Space 1999
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I like Space 99. It's okay. I never got really big into it, to be honest. It's okay, but it just then now now that I know that it
The story?
it was the story behind it, where that's why UFO was gone. I mean, you can't blame Anderson for them, from him. He just said, "Well, I'll go do this since I can't do that." I get it, but it's a shame that it cost us a UFO. I mean, could you imagine if we gotten at least 3 seasons of 26
It would be
episodes
as
of
big
each?
as Star Trek, if not bigger. But it just goes to prove Gene Roddenberry's contention that, the best TV is cerebral TV, and it is somewhat esoteric. And these huge studios, they're not interested in supporting shows with small audiences. But there is a considerable audience of people out there who do not want to be treated like children, who do not want to watch rubbish on television. And, there are plenty of people who will watch TOS. There are plenty of people who will watch UFO. And so, it's just sad that TOS and UFO both got canceled. I think that was a horrible thing to happen to popular culture. Two of the best.
Yeah, but TOS got over the finish line to whether it led
It
to
did.
other things. That it got canceled the first season, who knows? But at least it got over that finish line enough where that's one good thing about the third season. But yeah, I mean, but UFO still gets shown and everything, it's just not the same. And Space 1999, again, they're fans for sure, but it's not. Neither one of the shows will ever be as popular, not even a sliver of the popularity of Star Trek.
It's true.
And that's just
But Star Trek is a cultural phenomenon, right?
Yes, it is. It's the biggest cultural, as a TV show goes, it's the biggest cultural phenomenon of a TV show ever.
Yep. Could not be reached for further comment. I totally agree. I do love Space 1999. Well, the first season, I do. I enjoy it as isolated science fiction. But once you start to uncover what happened with UFO, what happened with Moonbase Alpha, and then, oh my God, that second season where we don't have the bow chicka wow wow anymore, and Maya comes along and she's a lion or a tiger. Lions,
turn into
tigers,
animals.
bears, oh my. It's just could not be reached for further comment.
Weird.
I totally agree. Like if Space 1999 was a standalone and it was just the first season, I think I would have a much higher opinion of it. But when you put Space 1999 in, but I don't hate the second season. I just find it a little campy. But
it was weird.
Give me UFO instead. Give me Clobby and I talk about this off air. We've talked about it like 5 or 6 times. We would have much rather have had UFO. Two more seasons of UFO.
I mean, the first season of Space 1999 it's sci-fi, but it's borderline horror. I mean, so it's almost a horror show sometimes. Really, it's really disturbing.
It is. Yeah, Dragon's Domain with Chunky Boy was joking about that. Gave me nightmares for years.
Yeah.
And before the interwebs, my sister and I were like, "Remember that space show?" And of course, I'm more into science fiction, so I'm like, "Space 1999, Laura." She's like, "What was that show that we couldn't sleep?" And Mom was like, "Why can't you sleep?" Because the dragon, and it looks relatively cheesy today, but on a 9-inch, black and white TV, the effects probably looked a lot better. And it was a monster that ate you and spat you out within seconds as a charred husk. And it just the pilot was stuck on the Eagle, and he had to jettison his capsule. He had to survive. That whole part was scary too, knowing that he had to. I was just thinking of that pilot, and it just
and the worst part of that too was that he was in that thing was in a doorway, And that heightened it
Yeah.
even more because the only way out, the only
Yep.
way out, and it was there. And it would
Yeah.
spit you out like you were barbecued, like obviously charcoaled. But yeah,
Oh, it was bad. It was you were overcooked too.
yep.
But yeah, that was a great show. But I don't know if I'd read somewhere that UFO they never planned to make a second season. They weren't sure, but you know, then it turned into Space 1999. You know, but unfortunately, that's what we did get was Space 1999, which was good in some ways, but that second season really went went off the rails. But I think Space 1999 is more well known than UFO. Maybe it
Mhm.
made more of a splash here, maybe because it was on before Star Wars, and it started that
Mhm.
Right.
space craze, and it was in outer space, quote unquote,
And
versus
people
UFO.
were, I think people were really also attached more instead, like they were more attached to the horror aspects of what would happen when we went into outer space. I mean, when you're talking
Yeah.
about making things in 1968 and 1969, you're talking about the first time, man set foot on the moon. And so I think a lot of those ideas were more popular, right? But I still don't think Space 1999 is super popular because I remember when that
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
Star Wars show that well, I don't want to call it Star Wars because there are only 3 Star Wars films. But there was like this new thing that was calling itself Star Wars, and it had like some sort of glister. What was it called? Some type of glittering rock or whatever, geode or something like that.
Oh, that
And
High
it was
Republic
In the
stuff.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, the High
and it
Republic,
was a
yeah.
total ripoff of All That Glisters. That
Oh yeah. Oh,
that it was a total ripoff of All That Glisters. And so when that
Mhm.
came out and all of the everyone was talking about the fake Star Wars crap that was with the rock, the geode thing. I was like,
Geode, yeah.
guys, like they totally ripped that off
Right.
of All That Glisters. That's Space
Mhm.
1999. Go the up. The rock, it's the same rock.
It's the same rock. Yeah.
It's the same rock, and it does
Justice
all
for
the same
Glister.
things from the same episode. Anyways,
Right.
just total ripoff. Anyway,
Well, we got some interesting info on Tales of Tomorrow that got DM'd to me. So I'd like to.
this is Gwag.
This is Gwagnar. Yep. So thank you,
Gwagnar.
Gwagnar. Great research. I'm going to share my screen, and let's we can spend a couple minutes looking at that, which is really cool find here.
JT Kirk, she's not talking about Phantom Menace. She's talking about High Republic drivel. Just so you know it.
Let me zoom in on this so we can read it a little bit better.
What's the dealio here? Oh,
So here, this is a message board.
Ooh.
Let me zoom in since the text I know is tough.
Thanks, Gwag.
Tough to read. So
There you
Gwagnar
go,
found this.
Gwagnar.
So I guess we can all explore these. I posted the link that Gwagnar sent, so thank you. But it's all
Gwag.
about Tales of Tomorrow, and what we're wondering about is how what was lost, what's found, what's played. So first of all, Mask of Medusa and Conqueror's Isle are not Tales of Tomorrow. They were played in place of 2 episodes. Well, Tales of Tomorrow was on hiatus, so those were played. So some people, I guess, think those are Tales from Tomorrow episodes, so they're not.
Oh, okay.
So there are 84 episodes of the series. 40 had been released on DVD. So these are the 40 episodes that have been released on DVD. On Frankenstein, we haven't watched yet with Lon Chaney Jr. That's gonna be fun to watch. So they don't give episode. Are these episode? Oh yeah, the episode
Sorry,
numbers.
everyone. I would love to chime in, but I'm having a sneezing fit, so I'm just going to go on mute. For
sorry.
a minute.
Oh, go ahead.
Hope you feel better. Yep. So yeah, so these are the episode numbers. Yeah. So Verdict from Space, Blunder, Dark. So that's why we skip into Dark. Skip Dark Angel, Crystal Egg, Test Flight, because those 3 through 7 we can't find.
Hey,
so
Stark of Iron.
Stark of
What's up?
Iron, Tony Stark.
What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man. Good to see you.
And let's see, here we go. 19 episode known to exist, while others have at least circulated as recently as the 80s. Now that would be great, when you could go to the bootleg tape, although these are probably in public domain at a con, and try to find, I never knew about this series. So Raquel, thank you for letting me know about it. It seems kind of crazy. I mean, this is like the grandfather of all science fiction. Even Rod Serling
I'm not
mentioned
gonna lie.
it.
I was pretty blown away when I started doing the initial research on it, and I was going to bring it to the clubhouse, and I found out that Arthur C. Clarke. This was his first publication and things like that.
Yeah.
And then I started reading the pedigree of Tales of Tomorrow and realized the powerhouse, like Paul Newman's first first appearance ever on film is on Tales of Tomorrow. So it's just such a powerhouse. And then you have, H.G. Wells. I mean, it's some really incredible stuff happening here. And yeah, I'm so excited by it. But the interesting thing about what Greg has done here, Gregnar giving us this list, is this definitely explains, especially when you unpack it, Mark, about being able to access this stuff at a con. Because here I am, okay, I'm in Canada. So I went through what was released to the public domain in Canada through Tubi. So all that is pretty easy to access. But once you start trying to unpack this, you realize, like I was saying earlier in the program, that there are like Metacritic reviews. There are people who have done reviews on IMDb. You can find this synopsis here and this synopsis there. And so you're wondering how people are watching it. And then you discover that you can get a couple of these episodes on archive.org. So then that leaves you thinking, if I keep digging around, will I get them all? So we've got this list. We're checking it twice, and we're going to find out which ones are naughty and which ones are nice.
Yes, I wonder if any of these haven't cross-references the ones that I've been able to find. But these are the ones that were not released on DVD but are available. So I don't know if I've got to check what I've got to see.
Oh my God, they did Oscar Wilde? Look at that. The picture of Dorian Gray, January 23rd, 1953. Yeah. Imagine trying to do the picture of Dorian Gray in 20 minutes. Imagine trying to do Oscar Wilde in 20 minutes in 1953. You guys, I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited.
No, this is the bad news.
SP4H, welcome, and you're not late at all. Good to see
hello.
You.
Hey, yeah, great. Thank you for being here. Yeah, this is the bad news. Yeah, Child is Crying. I guess there was a different, there's a different actress, I guess, in one version. So at least we got to see that excellent episode tonight in that version. So 4, 5, 6, and 7. Not sure where those are. 12.
Oh my gosh.
So,
okay, Mark, this is the list that I was talking about. I can't believe Wagner found it. Okay, so I've actually been doing this one at a time. Mark, can you control copy and paste that and put that in the Clubhouse on Twits so that I have that?
Well, I already have a spreadsheet that I made, so I'll just
you have a spreadsheet. Okay, because this is great. Because if you look around, the scary thing is if you look around on the episodes that are unknown, sometimes you can find them. So yeah, we got to keep our nose to the ground on this one, Mark.
And this is updated 2020, so. But some of these, could be lost to history, like a lot of Doctor Who episodes, like a lot of Doctor Who actually quite a bit survived because it was so popular, and they found episodes all over the world when they'd, say, sent them to Africa or other countries to be retransmitted. They found the film, and people love Doctor Who, but there's a lot of there's some shows I was reading completely gone. There's just no record.
Yeah,
they just erased reused the tapes. So who's going to watch those again?
Oh, that's so sad.
So I'm sure some of these are probably lost forever, unfortunately. But
Doctor Who's, there was a while that for like 20-something years they thought they'd never find any of them. They've been finding them forever in weirdest places.
Yep.
You got to be patient.
They found some in Nigeria, I think, and some obscure, broadcast studios that were shut down. They found a box of tape somewhere, and it's so that's really really interesting. Thank you. And I guess I'll put this.
Thank you, Wagner.
In again.
Wagner.
Let me.
Hey, and Tony Stark says, "I love you guys. I hope to see you around my neck of the woods on Sunday. I will be on Jill's stream tomorrow. Everyone, please consider giving Tony Stark a follow on Twitter and on YouTube. A very kind gentleman, and also a patron of my new book. This is a person who supports indie authors and makers and creators in our community. And so, it's really nice that when somebody reaches out and they are supporting independent authors and creators in the community, that we reach back and that we offer our support to them as well.
For sure. Yep. Does do we have his channel link? Does anyone have that we could?
I'm not sure.
Let's see.
I don't know. I don't have.
I'll try to find it.
I
Yep.
don't.
Or if one of the mods could try to find that, that would be
that'd be super cool. Eric K says, "I love you all long time." And Gwag says that this message board has lots of info on Tales of Tomorrow, including TV guide listings. You know, I keep saying Tales of Tomorrow. Am I ill? Is there something wrong with me? Like, I'm not doing my typical Tales of Tomorrow.
That's okay. We forgive you.
Thank you.
You're allowed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And then I guess there were 2 versions of this episode too, as well. So that Gwagnar had sent to us. So let me go back to his other link here. Oh,
that's lovely. Oh, and thank you, Eric K. Of course, the Bronze Wrencher, father of Kirby, has provided the URL to following Mr. Tony Stark.
Indeed. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric, honey.
Appreciate that, buddy.
So let me see if I can get this link to work here. Let's see. Copy link address. Yeah, so it's just fascinating stuff. Oh, here we go. Yep, let me.
Has Eric been sending any of you the videos of Kirby? Or is it just
I didn't
me?
get a
because
video
like
of Kirby.
I'm a chronic Kirby fan, so I requested videos, and so I get videos of Kirby. You guys should see Kirby. He is all legs at this point, and it's just hysterical because his paws are huge. Like, I want to exaggerate just so that you can imagine how floofy and wonderful he is. He has feet that look like they're the size of saucers. He's just all legs. He's just
He hasn't
goofy
caught up
and
to
sweet.
it yet. Yeah.
His face is so perfect. God, that dog's beautiful.
Very cute. So here is not that one. What did I do here? This one. So this is I guess the TV description of the episode, which is really cool. Tales from Tomorrow, tonight at 9.
Ooh.
So I guess this is showing maybe that a different actor.
Oh my gosh.
So that's veteran star in Tales of Tomorrow. Yep. So that's just so cool. The TV guide. Yep. So just yeah. So I'll put that link.
Eric's
link
giving
in
me
there.
crap. I'm not allowed to say our pepperoni's name because finally he just fell asleep. And if I
you were gonna wake him up. Yeah, wake him up.
Sorry,
it's like
Eric.
saying the echo name. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I guess it was a different actress here, but I'll put this link was in here before. I'll put it in again, but it's a long link. I gotta shorten that URL.
Yeah.
So it's a huge. Sometimes some of these URLs are ridiculously big. Yep. But yeah, just interesting stuff to read, and we find out all these message boards, and a lot of people maybe remember the show from when it was, maybe if you're old enough now I guess, but there's enough people to remember watching TOS, and of course 50s TV. That's a lot rare stuff. Not everyone had a TV back then, believe it or not.
No.
Nope.
Well, even in the 70s, if you weren't like a well-to-do family, you probably just had a black and white set. And that's another thing that a lot of people forget, or if they're young, they don't realize that a typical family could access getting a television set for the living room if they were to opt for the plain black and white set, whereas a color like a Quasar, full color Quasar, was a lot more money. So yeah, it's television was a treat. Television was definitely a treat.
My mom said that someone got a color TV in their neighborhood. They all would go over to watch Ed Sullivan show on Sunday night and bring food, and it was like a big deal to like watch a TV, be able to watch a TV show.
Yeah,
there's video coming to your room, right?
Yeah,
you didn't have to go to the movies. You didn't have to go to the theater. and you could just watch something on TV.
Yeah, Matthew Pounder says his family rented theirs. Yes, I have. Yeah, we rented as well. So, yeah, isn't it funny how when you actually come from that time and you talk about what it was like to live at that time, that a much different image begins to take shape as you realize the way that we imbibed popular culture back then.
Yeah, my
Oh,
dad
Eric K, it
always
doesn't
told me-
matter if you're wearing earbuds, he can hear. No monkey.
Kirby.
And my
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say my dad always told me too that yeah, they had a radio growing up because he was so darn old. That you had to put, well, I don't know, it was a quarter or whatever, you had to put a nickel or whatever the heck, and you got like 25 minutes of music or 15 minutes of music for every
wow.
20 cents you put in. So he said it was such a fun day. He said, my God, the guy showed up at the house and we'd finally paid for the radio. And this is a transistor radio that was in their living room. Then the guy showed up. I can listen to radio all day and all night and not have to pay for it. It was just
JT Kirk is appealing to the calm tech scholar here by saying, in the past, we rented the equipment. Now we rent the content.
Oh, great point.
JT Kirk! You know I love you.
Yepper. Oh, my goodness, man. I tell you what. Well, you know, I better not say it.
Why,
we're going to be,
boss?
There's something we're going to be talking about on Saturday night.
What, boss?
That really relates to the UFO episode we talked about.
You want to
Here, I'll
talk about
just
it?
say that. No, I'm just gonna put that little thing. Hey, Lisa.
Lisa!
Lovely Lisa. Good to see you
Hey,
there.
sweetheart.
So I would put that out there. I'll let you figure it out. A question of priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's take a look at our poll.
Okay.
Let's see how we're doing here. All right, folks. So, whoops, hang on a minute. Damn it. Throat clear. Okay, so far we have a poll, folks. And we have 58 votes. And the question was, which show would you like? Would you have us, or would you like to have us? Well, I wrote a review next on the Clubhouse. Oh my goodness, man, this lead has changed a couple of times since I've been checking.
Oh,
With 58 votes in.
That's great.
In first place, it's Babylon 5 with 33%.
Okay.
In second place at 29%, which was in the lead last I looked. It's weird. The Prisoner.
Okay.
And then in third place is Blake 721, and in last place is Fought Escape at 17. They've been neck and neck for a while, and now, wow, we will see.
I mean,
and by the way, I was kidding.
I love them all.
We don't have to do Blake 7 next. We can pick whatever the winner is. That's why. Or we can just do
who the winner is, but no, they're never going to pick Blake 7. We should make them watch Blake 7.
Make them watch. You can't make them watch anything.
Yes, you
CLOBBERIN
can.
times.
Listen, I'm a teacher. I can make you do things, especially at a college level. I can show you that things are good if I make you read them.
That's not how I roll. But you know, look, I might let the people speak. But you know, again, I was gonna. If that's the case, the Prisoner had the lead for a while there. You know, and the Prisoner, at least that doesn't take us long. Captain Infinity and beyond.
Infinity, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avon's 5. Yes. Avon's 8. Avon's 7.
Captain Infinity says, yes, Raquel, make them. It will be good for them. Yes, exactly, right? And sometimes...
Like eating green beans?
That's right. I'm going to make you eat your broccoli. And Clobby will pick the broccoli out of the dinner and feed it to the dog. But the rest...
Dogs don't eat broccoli, do they?
Yes,
I'm not eating broccoli. No.
They wouldn't
eat green beans. Is that enough?
You eat green beans? That's good.
Well, when my mom makes them, you know.
That's a start.
They look normal.
I know you don't like anything with green in it.
No, I mean, I eat salad a lot. That's green.
And you don't mind rotel.
Well, that's different. That's not green. That's red. But I mean, I don't mind that too much. At least I don't mind it. I don't like rotel chicken that much as she makes, but I like in the cheese dip.
Don't tell her.
Rotel's good in the cheese dip there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll eat salads. You know, of course, it's when I get through it, it's not that healthy because I like to go to
Take out all the green stuff.
Yeah, and he loves Thousand Islands dressing.
I do. We have this place called Salad Station here. They charge by the pound. And I don't mean my pounds because I couldn't afford that. They charge by what you put on your damn, your little.
They weigh it. They weigh it
Yes.
when you get to the
bring it up
front
to
of
the
restaurant.
counter and they weigh that sucker.
They
Oh, wow.
weigh
You
weigh
can
a
walk out of
shame.
there with a $13 salad, dude. A $14 salad. If you get a drink, like $14 damn. But see, they've got obviously all the traditional salad stuff on a salad bar, and they've also got some really nice different types of chicken and turkey and ham and
Food is so inexpensive in the
pepperoni.
United States. I can't believe that you just described a $13 salad as big,
Oh, it's ridiculous.
heavy, and expensive.
Why? I mean,
Because that's
salads are
very
more
cheap.
than that up there.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Well,
Even
it's
at a
dark up there.
casual
Grass
dining
doesn't
restaurant.
What?
Yeah, it's usually around $25 to $28 for a meal-sized salad in a restaurant here. Even in a pub.
A freaking salad?
I know it's
Holy
expensive here.
crap!
honey.
But is that
JT
is
Kirk says
that
a $14 salad is almost
Canadian dollars or?
Yeah,
JT
JT Kirk, I
Good.
totally agree, right? JT Kirk?
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
he's an honorary Canadian. He's in Michigan, so he's practically in Canada. And yes, $14
Yeah, but he said-
salad would be the bare minimum.
He said it would feed 2 or 3 people, though. I could count, maybe counted as like 5 myself, so that's different. I guess.
Oh, don't say
But,
that. I love you. Don't talk like
I'm
that.
bragging. Okay, I shouldn't. You're right. I shouldn't brag, but but no, it's still. I mean, come on now. Every time I feel guilty when not because of what I'm eating so much, just going. I can't believe I paid just like almost $14 with a drink if I got a drink, for a freaking salad.
Yeah, well.
And I
food's
Paul-
You ever go to
inexpensive in the
Chipotle
States.
here? Yeah. You guys
I
have
get the
Chipotle
lettuce.
your way?
Yeah, we have
No.
Chipotle down here.
We don't have that here.
I never go, but we have one.
We have a Chick-fil-A in TO, and I think we have one in Van, but we don't even have
what?
a Chick-fil-A here.
Oh, Chick-fil-A's good.
We have a Chop too. Do you guys have Chopped? That's
Yes,
a
we
salad
have
place.
beef and we have
what?
chopped. So Chop is
What is Chopped?
a more
They
expensive
stole
restaurant.
my idea.
What is chopped?
I invented Chopped about 20 years ago. I always chop my lettuce up like crazy.
Oh,
Like chop. They chop the lettuce up. They have this cutter, and they make the lettuce exactly like I make
yeah.
it. And then you can throw meat in it and whatever you want, or they have a huge like salad bar. So it's basically like a big salad bar place, and
This is
you get
my
your
fault.
salad there.
Here we go with the food. I'm sorry, everybody.
Right? It always comes
Okay.
My
down
fault.
to food.
Sorry, everybody. I guess just because I'm hungry. I can't.
That's because it's getting late, and when it gets late, you know what time it is. It's
Getting
snack
hungry.
time.
Yeah, I've been
Oh,
eating some.
salad niçoise with
some
with
peanuts.
anchovies, Mr. Angel. Oh, those are good too.
Disgusting.
Love me
And
some
now he's going to
anchovies
talk
with
about
salad.
tongue pizza.
Chopped.
See
You
tongue
mentioned
pizza.
it. Anchovies are delicious on salad.
I had a
Oh,
pizza
that's
tonight, but now I'm
salad.
hungry. I want more
Yeah, I'm hungry too.
earlier. What are you hungry for?
I don't know.
What's that? What do
I
you
had
want?
Popeyes for supper, and it was delicious.
Oh, yeah. I want Checkers. We'll get me but I can't go out because I'm going to. Hey, Oliver Belamonte, good to see you.
Oliver Belamonte.
Going to
Oliver.
Twin Peaks tomorrow, so I got to be. But I still got to have something tonight. I shook my disbelief when I saw SCP Hard finale end scene. Sean Bjorn and company were playing alien card games. Looks to senior citizen. I mean, it was really stupid, but yeah,
They weren't playing blackjack.
I don't know what they were.
Or-
Tio is
are they-
getting a Shake Shack next
It
year.
wasn't Blackjack. It wasn't
That's
Blackjack.
great.
What?
Oh, my hometown.
We have
Tio.
a shake. We just got a Shake Shack. I didn't think much of it. I didn't think it was that great. It was okay. It was a little pricey, and we have way better. We have a place called Burger Smith that has way better hamburgers. Burger Smith is
Yeah, but
great.
you're in Louisiana. Like,
Yeah, they got a lot of
obviously,
great burger
everything
places
you
there.
have is going to be better.
No, we got crap too.
No,
We got crappy stuff too.
Louisiana is like, oh, the food.
Louisiana. Remember that song? You ever heard the song? Louisiana.
Yes, actually, that sounds
Louisiana.
vaguely familiar.
Yeah, because I don't know. When I met David Jackson played Gan on Blake 7.
Yes.
The time I met him, he's the only Blake 7 cast member I got to meet, and he was a real nice guy. And He asked me where I was from. I told him Louisiana. So that's one of my favorite songs. And so I got in his face and I went, "You mean Louisiana?" Well, I didn't do that. But I said, "Oh yeah, that really." Why he would know that song way across the pond, I don't know.
I almost did not get over his death.
The death of Gan. Oh man.
I texted you. Do you remember Walkie Talkie Night? And I texted you, and I'm like, I must have sent like an angry like 1,200 word essay about how robbed I felt. I was mad.
She's not talking about any specific character, by the way, in case you haven't seen a certain show. But she's saying a certain show on a certain character died, which many characters on many shows have died. So she's not spoiling anyone. But go ahead.
And then I texted Clobby. I think Clobby and Mark on Walkie Talkie.
Does he come back?
5 o'clock in the morning, complaining and saying that I was angry and that I felt betrayed.
We were talking about too.
And oh yes, Clobby's not exaggerating. Like he was like I sent one sentence where I was like, I cannot effing believe that this just happened. He's like, don't even tell me. I know what episode you're on. And I'm like, I cannot believe that they did this. How could they do this to him? He's my favorite. He's Little John. He's Little John.
He's Hoss Cartwright.
And he is Little John. That's who he was like designed after. And so I was so mad. Like I was really heartbroken. I was like, I don't know if I want to finish watching this show.
They kill characters on shows. I mean,
they kill characters on good shows. Good shows where you feel that there is some type of risk.
Remember, I told you there were going to be deaths. I told you going in and said, "Hey, you're going to have characters get killed." But B5's the same way. B5 did some. Oh my goodness.
Oh, the deaths on B5 were horrible.
Marcus was the one that I think Marcus is the one that killed me the most. I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And what Marcus. Now that's not a beat. Well, I haven't seen it. I'm sorry if that's spoilery.
I haven't seen it yet.
And what that did to Ivanova, it just destroyed the character.
Yeah. I loved Ivanova. I miss her.
I love her. Mark. Oh, you haven't seen it? Well,
yep, that's okay. I won't remember Mark.
You won't remember anyway.
Yeah,
don't
remember
worry.
This not named after me, so I won't remember it.
I mean, Mark,
thank you for this way back in the chat, but Mr. Angel had posted a watch order for YouTube too. So thank you for sending me that, Mr. Angel. It's in the chat, but you can watch a lot of them on YouTube.
What?
And Tales of Tomorrow. So it's in the chat, but it was a while back. But I just want to acknowledge him and thank him. And I did, and thankfully I did fulfill my contract tonight. I got blamed for turning this into a food stream.
No, I did it.
Kirk.
I did it. I blamed me. I didn't blame you.
No, it was the captain this time. JT Kirk says if I ever go to Michigan, he's going to take me to the Greek town there. And JT Kirk, I'm going to take you up on that. If I am ever in your neck of the woods, we are definitely going to Little Greece in Michigan. It will be so much fun.
There you go. I mean, it doesn't matter because none of us can stop thinking about food anyway.
I gotta go get some pretzels or something.
I had me.
They have to have like a food filter so you can't hear you eating on the channel.
Right? Yeah.
They
have crisp and that gets rid of the back noise. But what they need is
you can still hear me eating though.
You can.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it when I can perfectly guess what Clobby's eating and he's like, how'd you know that? And I could tell when he's crunching on M&Ms or popcorn or when it's something different. I'm like, what do you have? He's like, chips.
Cereal. sometimes it's yeah, but I can do it a Checkers. I want a Checkers triple baconzilla right now.
Oh, that sounds good.
They got this special sauce on there, and it's just a ton of bacon and three. It's a triple, and it's just the sauce and the bacon. And
Get in my belly.
Yeah, and they got, of course, it's got the Cajun fries. Big old cherry Coke.
Fries. But you can't say it that way. You got to use Cajun, man.
Big old, you get that baconzilla, triple baconzilla with a Cajun fries and a cherry Coke. You get that, it tastes so good. Woo!
Oh, I love it so much. Oh,
it's not
some
cheap.
Of your impressions are so good. It's crazy.
I wouldn't call them impressions. Yeah, that's just the way we talk down the bayou, Shell. In the playoffs. Look, they're guys. I'm being over exaggerating a little bit. There are a lot of people that talk like this down there. Yes.
Oh no, there are lots of people down there that talk like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In the bayou for sure. I've seen a couple of documentaries where, incomprehensible. The accent is so thick it's incomprehensible.
You heard Gambit talk on the cartoons, X-Men cartoon. She acts if he's too over the top with it. I guess, that guy. I mean, he does it a little bit over. I don't know. I guess I can't stand Gambit anyway. But yeah, Gambit's trying to do that.
You never liked Gambit.
I never liked Gambit, man.
He's too Gambity.
He is Gambity. I don't like him.
He's too Gambity.
It's just a stupid superpower. It's a stupid MO.
It's ridiculous superpower.
What is his superpower?
He's a mutant who, well, I mean, it'd be one thing if he could just like electrify. He can electrify any object.
Okay.
And throw it, which is all fine and good. But his MO is he dresses in I hate his outfit. Maybe that's part of it. He carries a stack of trading cards and he'll electric card one card at a time and throw it. It's pretty deadly and stuff of a trading card, but good. And that's why he calls himself Gambit. Get it? So, but I never liked him.
Wow, that sounds really dumb.
I think it's
dumb.
He's
a weird looking dude. And playing cards do not have enough mass to do any damage. So
I mean, they're electric,
but he's
electrified.
Like
but he's
rubber or Jello or.
Why wouldn't paper burn if you electrify? I mean, or
right.
So here's.
I don't understand why the cards don't burn. I mean, when he electrifies his stick, it's one thing.
Yeah. So there's
the that makes sense.
I'm trying to find his first appearance. Is really
cards. There you go. Yeah, people like Gambit. Now we're gonna piss people off who like Gambit.
Now we're gonna get people angry. Yeah.
I don't care. Whoever you are, I don't care.
You know me. I don't like angering people.
I know.
I don't like hurting anyone's feelings.
Yeah, right.
I don't like offending anyone. I want you all now to know, no offense. And I know, Mr. Angel, if you're a Gambit fan, that's cool, buddy. I just to me, it's a dumb accent.
People love him.
He's from the swamps down in and he talks like that with that stupid Cajun accent and all of his. And that dumb hole, the League of Thieves, or that he's some kind of guild of thieves or whatever he's part of or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah. Look at this outfit. This was his first outfit. That's just the first so bad. Yeah, it's just
they put him on the X-Men cartoon of the 90s and it kind of aggravated. I didn't like him that much.
Yeah.
What kind of an outfit is that?
No, he didn't even have
brown
any kind
and
of
pink. Those are some interesting fashion choices. Brown and pink.
He didn't have any kind of outfit at all on when they cast him in that stupid X-Men Origins movie. But he was played by Taylor Kitsch, who played John Carter.
Could not be reached for the comment. Electrifies his what?
What? Yeah. Ooh,
look at the chat, boss.
Oh, stick. Ooh, don't be ashamed of yourself. What's wrong with you, boy? Hey, Admiral Teague. Admiral Teague, the much beleaguered. Buddy, stay tough. Don't, man, and I appreciate you. Thank you for the $2 sticker. You were too kind. Admiral Teague is a staunch fighter against the filth, and we praise him for that. We exalt him for his stance against the filth. He wants a sticker that says "cool," and you are cool, sir. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for that. And
you've been banned by a certain person yet?
Admiral Filth, did you know? Filth. I called you Admiral Filth. Hey, you're gonna change your name. That would actually be. I might call myself Admiral Filth from now on, as an
anti-filth.
As an anti-filth.
Do I get promoted to captain?
You Commander Filth. So,
everyone's an admiral in Star Trek now, right?
That's right.
Teague, did you see my badge of honor? I'm banned by Terry Mattel ass. Oh, banned. I mean, blocked. I should say, blocked on the twat from the scar and the jerk off, or the talentless hack. Again, don't know. Again, it's probably blockchains. Although
no, it's
Joe thinks it's not, but
it's not. It's pretty direct.
We never had any interaction with them.
You all know me from Deichel, but still.
Yeah.
You never had
But
direct, yeah. You didn't say anything, yeah, to him directly. And then the
No.
funny thing was, some people were complaining about being blocked by him. They said they were defending the show on chains or threads where people were knocking the show, and the guy's like, "I was defending it, I got blocked."
Because he
I
didn't read
love
it. He
the
just
show.
saw them on there and he just
block.
That's pretty
block,
funny,
I guess.
actually. That
Yeah.
makes me smile. I was like, good. You got blocked by the jackass you were simping
Yeah,
for.
but blockchains, that's one thing. So if he went on a thread and saw everyone participating in it and just started hitting, like hovering and then hitting block, that's much different than a blockchain.
That is different from a blockchain.
Yeah. One of the
Yeah.
reasons why I don't think that he used a blockchain in your case, where I think that he may have singled you out, is because blockchains usually work on a premise of choosing a seed. So one particular person who has cultivated a specific type of audience that believes one thing and has very strong opinions about it. And so the blockchain is built around all of the connections of people who are fortifying those opinions. So with a blockchain, what you see is you see adjacent people who are innocent being blocked, and they get quite upset about it. They don't know why it's happened to them. But yeah, blockchains.
Yeah, Dan Slott blocked me. I can't believe I'm the nicest guy in the universe.
Dan
and he
Slott blocked me too.
Yeah.
So what are you saying?
And I even like the Superior Spider-Man.
You like that crap?
Yeah, I did like that crap.
Oh,
I did like that run.
Now I'm blocking
him.
No, but see, I guess
Mark,
you and Mark are not blocked by Metalass, right?
That's right.
Not yet. I got to keep. Oh, I better check now. Maybe I am now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, he would need to
No.
single you out, right? Because and that's why I'm saying that I doubt that it is a blockchain. Because
Well, cool.
you know,
I'm even better now.
Obviously, you know that I quit Twitter because I
Even
just
better.
I don't like it when too many people are following me, and it just I feel it's impersonal and odd, especially if a lot of the people are anonymous. And so I have a very, very small Twitter right now, and I try and keep it as small as possible. You know, psychologists say that you know, the sweet spot for social media is around 200. And it's where you can maintain, you know, sincerity and your relationships. So I make a concerted effort to keep it as low as possible. So, and you and I are quite close, Clobby. You're the most interaction I get on Twitter. So, and I'm not blocked by him. So I don't think it's a blockchain. I think this would be a direct response to some type of thread you participated in, perhaps a podcast you participated in, or a response that you made that he read that he found upsetting.
I'm prouder. It makes me even more proud. JT Kirk says he's blocked. Good. Well done. Do what you can to get blocked by that creep. Everybody,
Congratulations. Well, what I don't like is when he's really attacked fans. It's one thing, you know, if a fan crosses that line and acts like an a-hole, but if you know, someone's like, I was just bringing up points that I didn't, you know, really agree with on the series or had questions about, you know, you ask, you know, there's always, you know, a certain amount of nitpicking and or, you know, logical questions that you ask, and or legitimate, you know, plot point questions, and you know, someone shouldn't get offended by that, you know, by asking, you know, how would sonar work in space, say, for example. Because, you know, that doesn't relate to P Hard season 3, but just, you know, classic stuff on Discovery. You know, they use sonar in space.
Well, you touch on a good point, and the thing is that in our modern world, we you know, technology really caught up to us in a very quick way, and we're slow to adapt. We're not very good at adapting. And so when the opportunity presented itself where these big corporations could use their corporate actors to influence people through access media and influence people through social media, and, you know, cultivate the audience and build audience and build hype, they were pretty excited about it. But anyone who is worth a grain of salt in comms knows that there is SWOT, right? There are strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in comms. And whenever you reach out, what reaches back might not be what you're bargaining for. And so you really have to be careful about who is managing your comms, how you're speaking in social media, how you're going to handle negativity, how you're going to handle these crisis situations where it seems that your brand is melting before your eyes. And unfortunately, corporations have been slow to respond. They don't really have people who are trained in order to be able to deliver on solutions. And what you have are people who are acting on behalf of the corporations, and they take it personally. And so they start to, delete, block, mute people for their own mental health. And you guys know that I've talked about this at length on different shows that we've done, but it is true. They really need to learn to see social media as a potential, but also as a threat. And it's really important to get people in positions who are good at representing your company, your corporation, your firm, or your brand in a way where they can meet the needs of the public. Because if you're just there to only get the positivity and you can't take even a small negative comment, or you take it personally, or it becomes a personal war for you against people, it's not good for the brand, and it's certainly not good for other people's mental health, the people who are involved in it, right? Some debate is good and some debate turns toxic. So it's a very complex situation. And this is what happens when everyone is allowed instantaneous access to publication and interacting on behalf of a corporation. It's not all puppies and chocolate and roses. Some of it is quite difficult, and folks don't have the tools to meet the demands of the medium.
Look who's here.
Hey,
Max Redstone, buddy. I hope you're doing well. I have something for you. And I may as well. Are you still here, Max? Let me know if you're still here, buddy. He said he's got a delivery.
Oh, awesome.
So let us know if you're still here, Mr. Max Redstone, because I have something for you if you're still here.
Maximum Limericks, Mr. Maximum Limericks.
I hope you're doing well. Yeah. We haven't seen you in a while, buddy. So, yeah.
I hope you're feeling better. Yep.
All right, here you go, Max. This is you, buddy. I've added you to our list of greats here. So, yeah. Yep, you are. It is good to see you, buddy. Our list of great wrenches. You are the music meister, the limerick master. So I hope you like it. Because that just perfectly fits you.
It's beautiful.
All right. But anyway.
Yeah, Max, it is a huge problem because, I think the public, people don't know how to create that delineation. They don't know if that delineation even exists. And a really great example is Marina Sirtis. I was very disappointed by these horrible things that she was saying in public about how, if millions of people were at risk and they were going to die in this terrible weather event, that they were getting what they deserved because of who they voted for. And so aside of how you vote and your partisanship, because we don't discuss that here, immediately as a comm scholar, I think to myself, wow, who's handling this person? Because this person has to recognize that she's not just representing herself in her speech, because she's using social media as a branding tool. She's also representing that corporation. And so you really have to say to yourself, what are you saying to the public? Where does your job begin and your personal life begin? And where does your job end and your personal life end? And it's really important to separate your personal life from your professional life. And I think people in Hollywood are going to get better at it. it. But I think first what's going to happen is they're going to really suffer from blending it all and making it seem as though we're all working 24/7, 365 days a year, and that we're always on, and that, we are the corporate brand. I think people are going to learn that there's more of a downside to that than an upside to that. And I think that's when there will be some correction. But do I think that it's great for someone like Marina to take to social media and to make these statements as somebody who represents Star Trek, but is also looking for building her brand and building her opportunities to make money and building her fame through social media. So it's something that we have to crack. People have to learn what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. What you say in your own time, in the privacy of your own home, and what you say to friends and what you say in your downtime should be completely separate from how you comport yourself at work. There's a different level of decorum required for work, and people need to learn that. It's not all great to stir it all up into a soup and hold people to account for their personal beliefs in a professional environment, and vice versa. It's not working for anyone. And so, the problem is people can't use their own restraint. I think a great deal of this could have been prevented if people just would restrain themselves from being so vicious and mixing their private life with their personal life. But famous people are going to be famous, and they're
Well, think twice before you press enter. Like my mom always said back in the day when we wrote letters. If you're mad at someone, you write a letter, but let it sit on your desk for a day before you send it. Of course, now with the same thing goes with email. If you happen to get mad at someone, or maybe pick up the phone or just talk to the person in person. Much better than when you're typing something or writing something, things get misconstrued, and there's just no common sense there too for what Serta said. I mean, just a horrendous and horrible statement. Someone was joking, well, what about the people that voted the other way in the state and got either killed or injured? Did they deserve it too? I mean, or why would that even matter? How
they voted a way she didn't like.
Yeah. But the looming question, folks, here is that self-restraint. Do you have enough self-restraint to represent yourself as a corporation and as a brand, a Hollywood brand, but then also as a person? And I think those two things should be separated, and people should have enough respect for themselves and others and enough dignity to make sure that they keep those two things separate. It's not working in this way. It's just not working. It's not working for anyone. People are actors and actresses are damaging their own brands. Corporations are damaging their products, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. But right now, the reason why they're willing to allow it to happen is because the attention economy is going to be worth in excess of 957 billion. By the end of, I believe it's 2026, might be 2024. I would need to check on that. I wasn't anticipating discussing that this evening, so that's something that requires some in-text citation. But it's in and around there. And so, right now they're willing to gamble that because of all of the free advertising and all of the free attention that builds their brand. And how I express this to people so that they can fully understand is, I want you to imagine that you don't have a cell phone. I want you to imagine that you don't have a TV. You don't have anything. And there's a brand new show coming out. And the only way that you can, watch or imbibe this show is by buying a radio and tuning in radio. And imagine if you didn't have a radio. Okay, so this shows you the maximum extreme of access, and social media allows unprecedented access into people's homes and lives so that they're constantly immersed in advertising. And so these corporations are just going to keep pushing it because of how cheap and wonderful it is. No press is bad press. They're just constantly pushing brand management. And many of them are making more money off of advertising than they are on their products. So this is something to consider, right? And we're going to work our way through it, but it is a complex problem, and people are learning. Human beings are learning, and they're getting better at it every day. They're getting better at being savvy to the way that corporations are manipulating them and their reality and their arts and entertainment.
Yepper. Well, we're getting close to the 3 mark. I mean, no, everyone's probably getting tired unless you got anything else to go on. It is a school night after all.
It is a school night.
I know you probably like to go get some rest, both of you.
Yes, please. And I might have to have a cheeseburger thanks to you, Captain.
Sorry. I want one. But
Don't say sorry.
It's my contract to get blamed. Come on. I want to get blamed.
It is. But I mean, in your defense, all you have to do is bring up a sea tongues and no one will want to eat.
See, I didn't even bring it up. Well, that's true, though. Yeah, you're right.
I had
such a good pizza this week. Oh, I had a clam pizza from Pepe's. Oh, it was delicious. Oh, my God. It's so good. Almost as good as a mutton, lettuce, and tomato. But
Organizer, please.
Tomato sandwich now. Yep.
Well, hey, no, all I gotta say about clam pizza is better you than me. That's all. I don't give a shit what you put on yours as long as it's on mine. So, well, everybody, I tell you what, this has been wonderful. You all been fantastic as always. The clubhouse goes by too fast. But let me do some show notes in a second because, have so much fun with you. We really appreciate everyone being here tonight. Number one, any closing remarks you may have for our wonderful friends out there?
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please. Thank you for the floor, Captain.
I forgot something.
Close the poll?
Let's take care of the poll first, so I forget. How about that? Is that okay?
Sweet.
You okay with number one?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. The poll, folks, went way weird. Wow. The question was, what show would you like us to review next on the Clubhouse? And the winner is Babylon 5 at 32%.
Oh, wow.
The Prisoner came in at number 2. The Prisoner came in at 27%.
I'm a free man.
And number 3, Blake 7 came in at a respectable 24% at least. And poor old Farscape at 16%. So.
Aww.
That's all right.
I love Farscape.
That's 62 votes. So that's pretty. Appreciate everyone for participating in that. And anyone who lurked and participated, thank you. And anyone listening later on if you're listening later on the rewatch, please feel free to drop me a line. Let me know what you think. So, all right. Well, there you go. And now, number one, please, your closing remarks.
Okay, well, I just want to say thank you to everyone out there in listener land. I want to thank you all for tuning in, whether that's, watching us after we're off air and tuning into us, whether it's somebody who is listening as though it's a radio show or it's the incredible people in the chat. And really, I really have to doff my cap to the folks in the chat. Thank you for bringing such excellent conversation to these podcasts, to these, telecasts. We have such a marvelous time with you, and we're nothing without you. So thank you so much for providing engrossing, wonderful, often hysterical conversations. We love you very much. And I also want to thank the Wrenches. Thank you so much for promoting CLOBBERIN's channel, for promoting our shows, for being out there on social media, telling people about us, creating these beautiful show posters, being here to help us with production, guiding our community to different URLs, and just all the things you do. You guys are the unsung heroes of YouTube. I love you guys so much. And I'm so honored that you would come to a little channel like ours and support us in this way. No one pays you. You do this out of friendship and loyalty and kindness, and your expertise is valued by us. I love you so much. Mwah, mwah. I also want to thank my marvelous friend, Mark. Mark is such a great, talented maker. I have been badgering him, bugging him to start a Patreon so that you can buy the beautiful things he makes. Like, have you seen his Doomsday Machine? Please get on over to his Patreon and give him a follow. Support his work. He makes sexy, gorgeous, amazingly cool, nerdy, geeky things. And don't forget to follow him on YouTube. Marvelous human being, super nerdy, super geeky, super fun, and intelligent, great guy to be around. And last but certainly not least, I have to thank Clobby. Clobby, thank you for creating this space for us. You are the grand poobah of all of geekdom. We adore you. Just another great program filled with laughs, amazing conversation. I adore you, sweetheart. I just absolutely adore you. And I know I speak for everyone here when I say that. So thank you very much. And that's it.
And thank you for those kind words. And I'm interrupting by saying Eric K gifted 5 CLOBBERIN Ties membership.
Thank you.
Oh, and they've already been given out. So Patriarch, Monkey Jeebus, Forbidden Ruin, Lenrod, and Animas. Oh, that's great. So thank you, Eric K. Yep.
You
That's
too,
awesome.
Lady Mist. Good night, sweetheart.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Thank you, Eric, so much for that, buddy. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Max Redstone, for the super sticker, buddy. I really appreciate that. And Max Redstone, before we get to your closing words, Mark, gave us a limerick, and we should read it. There once was a man named Picard. His scalp was hairless and hard. His command might be skilled, but his crew maimed and killed just to get back his AARP card. That is fantasticness. Max,
Wowzers.
Duder, that is why you are the music meister. Max, the music meister. That's you, man.
Oh, that's funny. Done. That actually made me tear up. GT Kirk wants a mac and cheese emoji. I will write that down. I will add that to the list.
So good.
Mac and cheese. Well done, Max. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. And we're glad to see you, man. I hope you're doing better. Hope you're feeling better. Great stuff, buddy. Terrific. So, Mark DE with a CE, final words.
Oh, well, thank you. It was so you're always so nice, Raquel. And I put Raquel's Patreon in there, so if you can go support Raquel, even though Patreon doesn't want you to do it, I mean, you can just do the $1 a month version. So you know, it's much appreciated. And shout out to Brian Hepburn and Shooter for my first through Patreon. So really appreciate that. I did a action figure repair. That was my last video. So Arrow can save this city. So his leg broke off. He was fighting crime and fixed the joint. So if you want to, I'm posting that link in there. So if you want to check out that it's a quick video, but can show you how to fix your action figures. Won't cost you really much, $10 and tools, and you can repair that leg. So no action figures left behind. You don't want to have to throw out any action figures. So Stephen Amell with one leg isn't cutting it. So that was a fun little quick video to do. But yeah, always appreciate hanging out here at the clubhouse. It's always a lot of fun, and talking about Tales of Tomorrow and UFO and some great shows, and we did get to food too. So this was a lot of fun. And my next show, of course, will be Sunday Night Geekery. So hopefully, I know Mike will be there. CLOBBERIN Times will be there on Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. And I guess maybe we'll talk a little bit about certain shows that got released this week. And I gotta watch Power Rangers, Donnie. I'll watch that. So I gotta check that out. Maybe we'll talk about that. Really? Great nostalgia there. You know, I'm not a huge, massive Power Rangers fan, but I do enjoy watching it. And
I didn't know you watched that.
I did watch that, yeah, with my kids. I watched it a little bit. Not, you know, not. I'm nowhere near Donnie level, but
congrats, Donnie, on getting your Power Rangers back, man.
And no Pink Ranger. I want my Pink Ranger. She was my favorite.
Really?
Come on now, come on.
Right.
But yeah, so looking forward to seeing you guys on Sunday night, and let's go Rangers 2-0. Nice start to the series.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Well, thank you both. And here's some show notes, and then we'll do some shout outs, and then we'll get out here. Tomorrow night on my good buddy 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser's great channel, the Friday Night Comic Shop gang joins together again for part 2 of our review of the Jim Starlin run of Adam Warlock character. So one of the great comic book runs of all time. Brilliant stuff. Had a great time reviewing part 1 last week. And so this is part 2 of a three episode series. We'll be reviewing all of it. So please, if you're a comic book fan and you want to hear about one of the greatest comics ever, please join us for that. Also, after that, I'll be doing a regular. I'll do my regular Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk, probably open Comics Talk. Not sure exactly what I got planned for that one, but I will tell you that before that, on the great J-Man's channel, my good buddy J-Man, we're going to continue, Sean and J-Man and myself, reviewing, and we're reviewing all of Legion of Superheroes appearances in chronological order from the very beginning in 1958 to when the only Legion that matters, the Silver and Bronze Age Legion, ends in 1989. So saith I, and no one could argue. And that's when I say it ends, it ends. And anyway, also, again, later, my Monday night show. And then Wednesday night, the great D. Bud Martin joins me to review Iron Man number 6 by Archie Goodwin and George Tuska and Johnny Craig. And it will be a lot of fun to do a CLOBBERIN Classic Comics review with the great expert on Iron Man. So I'm looking forward to that. And so, what am I saying? What happened? I can't believe I did it, Raquel. But tomorrow night, Saturday Night Star Trek, I digress. What the hell's wrong with me?
Already? Wow.
Tomorrow night, please join us. Same Trek time, same Clubby channel. 4 more episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine reviewed. So thank you so much, everybody. Please join us for that. And thank you so much for being here tonight. You're always just amazing. Let me shout out our wrenches, and then we'll get out of here. The great Eric K., great Chris Persia, the great D. Bud Martin, Lord Thoth and Lady Thoth, the great J-Man, the great Hungry Boy, and the great Super Wrench, Kal-El, Daddy's Daddy, Fanty Outsider, and of course, the great Max Redstone showed up as well. Good to see you, Max. And hey, that's what a gang, what a group, what a bunch. So everybody, please, and some wonderful people showed up as well. Shout out to the ladies that showed up, Lisa and Lady Miss. You guys, we don't really care about you. Just kidding. Love you, ladies. Also here with us tonight was Brian Hepburn and Donnie Pearson and Oliver Belamonte and Matthew Pounder and Ezra Goldstein. Shalom. And JT Kirk was here. Who else was here with us tonight? We had a bunch of Gap to Infinity and Beyond was here, could not be reached. But further comment was here with us. Who else? Mr. Angel was here. Captain James T. Skywalker. Who?
Matthew Pounder.
I already said him, but okay. Matthew Pounder, even though I said you. You already said you. It's worth it to say it again because we love Matt. Matthew. Let's see here. I just want to. We'd like to touch up. Usually can't remember everybody here, but if I miss anybody, I'm sorry. We'll get everybody on Saturday night as well. But sometimes on the clubhouse, I like to get everybody because we just appreciate everybody being here.
That should be said. Like the boss usually thinks that you guys are so important on Saturday night that he actually has a handwritten list of everyone who walks through the door so that he can shake your hand and say thank you for being here. And we don't normally do that on this show, but he just loves you guys. So he's doing
Indeed. Sean Carter, thank you.
Sean Carter.
Darius Munchausen, thank you both
for
your
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark of Iron, Scuba Pete. That's right. SP4H.
Gwagnar
was here as well. Let's see here. Let me see here. You never know. I'm sure there's somebody else.
Oliver Belmonte.
I got him, but
Okay.
but you got him twice. Just make sure.
I
So
think
it's always good.
Dad Man and the Dad Man
Dad
clan.
Man Clan did pop by. Yeah. Simply Steve was here as well. Good old Simply
Yeah,
Steve.
Simply Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
It's B4H. Wait,
Keely,
what I do now?
we're just shouting you out, saying goodbye, and saying goodnight to you, Keely. Ciao. Roll that die, Keely.
Yeah,
Ciao.
Ciao.
Gray Invader. Thank you for being
Yeah,
here
new
with us tonight.
person. Great person. Really
Yeah.
super interested in everything.
Yeah, I think Hojo was here earlier, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe
Oh, yeah. And Hoobie
Doobie Herc 130 was here. Yeah, that's right. Hoobie
I gotta clip that. I started working on that.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Bop. I think I got everybody, but I'm just making sure. In fact, might as well play the game since we're here. Mark, you think it's anybody? I think I probably got everybody this time. What you think? You think I missed
There's got to be
anybody?
There's got to be one person you're missing. Oh wait, was Claude here tonight?
Oh, there you go. You jinxed it. Yep, John Shaggy Rupus. No, not Claude.
Yeah. Reggie?
John.
And the other guy.
Mighty Orbots was here. Hey,
Mighty Orbots and the other guy, the death guy.
Who?
Death guy. What's the death guy?
Death? What do you mean death?
The death guy.
I don't know.
The death guy was here. The death, is it
Blood
Death Punch?
Philly Reviews was here. Blood Philly Reviews. Hey.
Yeah,
Did you
see,
say could not be reached for further comment?
Got him. Dave Rayborn, cousin.
got
What's up? Was
Yeah,
here.
it does.
Yeah.
And,
Just Joe. Jobber Buddy.
Jobber was here.
He was here. Your Old Toys was here.
Mm-hmm.
Irk 130.
Hey, we got him.
Yeah, we got him.
Got him.
We got him.
But the death
I have
guy,
bad
what's
memory.
the death guy's name
I don't know what
again?
Death guy
What's the
means.
avatar I mean? The avatar scary avatar?
No, he's a really sweet person actually, and he's here all the time. Yes, Lisa, I got Tony Stark. What is that guy's name? Oh
What's
yeah,
that
Death
guy's
Ray
name?
All Out Attack. Thank you,
Death Ray
Brian.
All Out Attack. See, I didn't know because I didn't see him. I didn't say hello when he came in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
Death Ray.
yelled him out. He's a
I
sweet
didn't
person.
know. I didn't say. I
Death
never
Ray
heard
All
him.
Out Attack.
Sometimes they get by me, Death Ray. I'm so sorry.
How about Snuggy Jr.?
Oh yes, Nugs.
No, Snuggy Jr. Okay, cool. Snuggy. Getting close to the end here. Michael Beacom was here earlier.
Yeah, Michael and
Hey,
Cassandra
Michael and
Beacom.
Cassandra. Always good to have you pop in. Making sure I'm almost to the end there, folks.
Simply Steve was first in the chat tonight.
Was he? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And you said J-Man, of course, too, I'm sure.
Of course.
J-Man.
The wrenches, I did the wrenches for.
Yeah.
So it looks like now I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we got that, man. I like how Lisa's helping. Oh yeah, Pat S was here.
Thank you, Lisa, by the way. All right, Pat S. Yeah, now I know we're clear. There's no way there's anybody else.
Clear?
Because I got Hojo.
Inconceivable.
Now, Hojo only said something once. So, yeah, that's I know I'm clear now. There's not a chance in hell that there's anybody left that I'm almost to the back to the front. Front to the back to the front.
Unless someone lurked the whole night.
Well, the lurker, I'm about to say that. Yes, I want to thank everyone who lurked and anyone who is watching this on a later download or a rewatch or whatever you want to call it. So there we go. We did it. Thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. You're the best, and you deserve the best. And yet you're here anyway.
MNT.
Sean MNT. Except for silent lurkers. Well, Sean, I'm glad you're silent no longer, at least for that moment. So,
welcome, Sean.
Yeah, welcome, Sean. Good to see you. All right. Well, it's nice when we get. I hope we got everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and please have a great weekend and join us for Saturday Night Star Trek if you're a Trek fan. And well, just clobber on, clobberers. Good night, everybody.
It's clobbering time!
Why'd you do that?
Clobber animal! Get those nerds! Nerds! What? I just love clobbering time.